future. We came to this world to reach the stars, to shape our future. We came to feel the music.
Triple Blaze.
Large journalistic force headed towards you. Stand by.
Market clearing order inbound.
You're watching TBPN.
Today's Friday, November 21st, 2025. We are live from the TBPN Ultradome, the Temple of Technology,
The Fortress of Finance,
the capital of capital. We got to ring the size gong for Eli Lilly. Big Pharma's getting bigger. Big Pharma's getting bigger. $1 trillion. That's the new market cap for Eli Lilly. They're a $1 trillion company. Normally, you got to be selling ads. You got to be a tech company, or you got to be an oil company to get into the 1 trillion club.
But people did say back in the day, whoever creates a cure for obesity is going to be a trillionaire.
Yep.
And
And they did the meme.
they did the meme.
They did the meme. Eli Lilly just became the first $1 trillion pharma company in history. I want to see the CEO, Dave Ricks. You know, he went on the Cheeky Pint podcast. I want to see him post, how to run a 13-figure business. Give me a thread. Give me a thread.
Nobody's
I'm
done
a
that.
13-figure
Nobody's done that
businessman. I'm a 13-figure businessman, and I'm on Instagram giving you some advice. Teach a course. Come on. Tell me how
Nobody's
you do it.
run that playbook yet.
But it is a fascinating business. It's one that I'm not super familiar with. And so I wanted to understand exactly how the weight loss market's playing out. Earlier in the year, maybe a year ago, we looked into GLP-1s. We talked about them. We read about Novo. Of course,
We
they're
laughed a
competitor.
little. We laughed
Yes.
a little when Novo failed to renew one of their patents.
Yeah,
Remember
that was crazy.
And I think it cost. I'm
Yeah.
gonna look it up, but
This-
it was something like that.
Yeah. So what's been fascinating to me is the lack of importance of intellectual property here. Normally, when I think about developing drugs, all pharma, I think about it as like you get a bunch of scientists in a lab, they discover something, and then they patent it, and you have a complete monopoly on that for years. It's like you have the patent on the intellectual property. Yep. If I have Mickey Mouse, you can't use Mickey Mouse for decades until it enters the public good, the public square. But that's not exactly how this is playing out. So Novo was originally the one getting all the attention for kicking off the GLP-1 boom. But over the past few years, Lilly has caught up. It's sort of a Google story. It's sort of like the Google narrative. Novo sort of raced to market. Basically, everyone was working on diabetes drugs. Then they figured out that these could be used for weight loss, and everyone rebranded, ran a few more studies, and then brought the drugs to market. So now the name of the game is making American GLP-1s. Eli Lilly is building a massive new plant in North Carolina to support what's now a $72 billion market. The revenue numbers are really crazy. It feels like an AI story, but in this case, AI stands for appetite inhibitor, I guess.
That's right.
Long-term forecasts get really massive. Eli Lilly's currently expected to generate $63 billion across their entire portfolio. But by 2034, they're expected to sell over $100 billion just in weight loss. So this new business line is going to be bigger.
The entire rest of the
exactly. It's going to be basically twice as big as they're existing as everything they are now, and they're already a big company. So. I was surprised that there was not more of an exclusivity period here. I wanted to dig into it. We were wondering, like, is it some sort of deal? Are they working together, Novo and Eli Lilly? In fact, they
historically they did.
No.
Really?
They were accused of working together.
Oh, interesting.
And that would have been illegal, and they would have been colluding. They are bitter rivals going back 80 years.
Yeah.
They've never worked together. They do not work together. They, in fact, are fighting over this market completely.
Yeah.
And so what actually wound up happening was that the first drug that kicked this all off was Novo Nordisk. They patented semaglutide, which was marketed as Ozempic and then Wegovy. And
to my point earlier,
yes.
Referencing the Canadian market, this happened around 5 months ago. Novo Nordisk actually lost Canadian patent protection on Ozempic and Wegovy in Canada because a few years ago they didn't pay the very nominal maintenance fee on their patent.
It's crazy.
Which will ultimately, cost them billions.
Well, don't do that. Instead, get on Ramp. Time is money. Save both. Easy to use corporate cards, bill payments, accounting, and a whole lot more all in one place. So, back to GLP-1s. No one can patent a biological mechanism. You can only patent a particular chemical, a particular structure. You can't patent the idea of mimicking GLP-1, which is what all these drugs do. They mimic the GLP-1 hormone, and that's what's important. And so Novo patented semaglutide. Lilly had tirzepatide already in the works. Again, they were working on diabetes, not on weight loss.
Something else.
But it was already kind of predicted to be a big market. So they both have products. And then as soon as Novo is able to pivot to weight loss, Lilly's able to run the same playbook very, very quickly. And accidental discoveries and quick rebrandings are nothing new in pharma. Viagra was initially created by Pfizer as a heart medication. Yeah. They gave it to both men and women, I believe. But male subjects obviously had a particular side effect, and that unlocked an entirely new market. And then that discovery came out of left field completely. So Pfizer basically had a true monopoly for 5 years before Cialis came to the market. This is obviously different because both companies were working on the underlying structure. Yep. Adderall also had a really odd path. Amphetamines have been around for over 100 years. They were used by soldiers in World War II. So obviously you can't patent them. In the 1970s, they were sold as weight loss drugs. And so there was a drug
called appetite suppressant.
Yes. So it was called Obitrol, and Obitrol was sold as a weight loss pill. In the 90s, a company bought Obitrol and renamed it Adderall.
Meth.
Yeah.
It's a great weight loss drug. Try it today.
It's actually so crazy. I imagine that it didn't really take off as a weight loss drug because it had crazy side effects. I don't actually know. I would imagine it was effective, but probably just very risky to use.
Yep.
But in the 90s, a company purchased Obitrol, rebranded it Adderall, and then marketed it for ADHD. And they didn't have the patent on the chemical. Remember, you can't patent the chemical amphetamine because it's been around for so long. So what they were able to do is develop a brand, and Adderall is a product that the brand name somehow it just completely broke through in a massive way, and it's just synonymous with actually
Kleenex.
ADHD. Yes. It's actually broken through in such a way that it's synonymous with ADHD. It's synonymous with like study medication even. Yeah. And so it's been wildly successful. They actually did wind up getting a patent later on for Adderall XR. So Adderall XR is a bunch of beads in a capsule, and they were able to patent the delivery.
That's like a form factor.
Exactly. Form factor. Yeah. Exactly. And so even when you don't have the patent on the underlying tech, you can still patent things around it, patent the biosimilars. There's a bunch of different things you can do. And so
it is a shame that the Gila monster never is not really getting any upside
not getting the bag.
Any of these weight loss drugs. Because that really is the origin, right?
They really should do that. They should do like 1% for the Gila monster. And just 1% off the top, they should donate it to like Gila Monster.
A foundation of sorts.
a foundation.
A nonprofit.
A nonprofit that just makes the Gila monster live in absolute luxury.
That's right.
As a thank you. So Eli Lilly will be fighting like this endless battle with every other.
And to be clear, for those that don't know,
yeah.
it was Novo Nordisk that figured out what was happening in the Gila monster, which
Was it the Gila monster? I don't remember.
yeah, it is. It's the Gila monster.
Because there's two. Yeah, there's the Komodo dragon too.
Yeah.
And I often get those two creatures confused.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the saliva
Yeah.
in the Gila monster,
Yeah.
I believe. That uses the same pathway, the
Yep.
the GLP-1 hormone. So basically, over the next couple of years, we're going to see this interesting dynamic where Eli Lilly, Novo, and basically every pharmaceutical company they have to get in on the action because it's
Yeah.
such a big market. Obesity is a massive disease. It really is that $1 trillion opportunity. It's been that for a long time. There's hundreds of millions of obese people. Everyone who has that doesn't want that. The market is so broad.
Yeah.
And so. What's interesting is that the patents haven't resulted in a perfect monopoly, where it's not this winner-take-all situation where Novo is just going to run away with it or Eli Lilly is just going to run away with it. What's actually happening is that it's a duopoly right now, but demand is so high that they still have high margins.
Yeah.
So they're in like a price war, but the price
And that's
war,
even with the competitive dynamics of the compounders, companies like Hims,
Yep.
which are creating
Yep.
a ton of different GLP-1 products,
Yep.
just in their own
Yeah.
facilities.
And so the price has fallen 3x. And normally, if the price of your good is falling 3x, you're charging if you're selling a $50,000 car and then
Yeah.
a couple of years later you're selling it for $15K, that's not
still
a great.
will cost something like in the same range to produce, and so you're just getting massive margin compression. But
Yes.
the growth is so insane that
Yep.
it hasn't really mattered.
Yeah, exactly. So the market is growing so much. Margins have fallen from 80% to like 60%, but the mass adoption just completely offsets that. And so they're making way more dollars in total. And so the next race now, Eli Lilly's a $1 trillion company. What do they have to do next? They have to go and make it a pill. They're going to try and make these weight loss products in pill form, and there's a whole new battle duking it out between Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk again, and some other players.
Yeah.
But it's a fascinating time, and there's a lot of they have their own like little Barnyard economy. There's a lot of analogies to the AI race, $1 trillion companies and high margins and all this.
Of course.
But at the end of the day, what matters in the GLP-1 market is just the actual supply. Like you have to go and build a massive facility, and once you get that facility up, people will buy it because the demand is so high that if you can make it, you will be able to sell it, and you'll be able to sell it at a good margin.
Yeah.
Anyway, let me tell you about Restream. One live stream, 30 plus destinations. If you want to multi-stream, go to restream.com. There was some interesting news in the SEO world. Adobe is buying SEMrush for $1.9 billion. Should we do a size gong for SEMrush?
I think so.
It's a historical size gong.
I think so.
It's been around for a while.
Fantastic outcome. It was notable to me because obviously we've been tracking the generative engine optimization space, and there wasn't really a great comp for a lot of those.
Yeah.
Like, I remember we were talking about it, and it's not like you hear a lot of SEO companies getting acquired in that range. And so, anyways, the geo market is still highly competitive. Obviously, we work with Profound, which has been the clear leader in the market to date. But I would expect this to drive even more companies to come in and compete. And ask any VC, they're getting pitched companies in this category multiple times a week still. So people are just piling in. And
That's interesting.
I would expect.
I wouldn't think of SEMrush as a GEO.
No, it's
player.
not. It's an SEO. It was the SEO leader.
Yeah.
That being said, I would expect them to also want to play in geo. It's
Yeah.
not like they're going to
Of course,
completely ignore.
but I would almost be thinking about SEMrush having their own build versus buy conversation.
Yeah.
It's sort of unclear what it would take them, how much data they have, how they can jump into the GEO market. Obviously, a lot of companies have been able to get something up and running very, very quickly.
Yeah.
And
they do already have a tool. It's called SEMrush AI Visibility. But again, there's so much
running a bunch of
demand
prompts.
for this kind of new product because every single company is spending a lot of time thinking about how they're appearing in different LLM queries. So still up for grabs.
Reportedly, SEMrush did $250 million in revenue back in 2022, probably grown a little bit since then. Founded in 2008. True overnight success at
Overnight success.
Almost 20 years to get on to the next thing
Massive.
with Adobe. Speaking of Adobe, I need to push their tools to the limit at this point. They were so behind in terms of generative AI and their models. They were training their own models. But eventually I saw a demo where Nano Banana was in Photoshop. And I feel like that is really potentially a really, really big unlock just for workflow. We've seen so many different examples of this in AI where the models are incredible, but having the harness and having the wrapper, whether that's a product that was introduced 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 50 years ago. Like they're all getting better.
Adobe works with Fall.
Okay.
So they can integrate pretty much any model in the world and inference it. So I expect them to. It is funny that whatever it was 2 years ago, every single player felt like they needed their own models, and now I think the narrative is really flipped.
Well, speaking of Fall. Build and deploy AI video and image models with Fall. Trusted by millions to power generative media at scale. And also Gemini 3 Pro, Google's most intelligent model yet. State-of-the-art reasoning, next-level vibe coding, deep multimodal understanding. We've been having a ton of fun with Gemini 3 Pro and Nano Banana Pro. We have generated an image of the Aura farm, the world, trying to understand a
barnyard
map, a barnyard, sort of an AI market map, but through the lens of a barnyard, because that's really what is going on in AI these days. Let's see. I think we need to zoom this out just a little bit to get it to line up, but we can show, and we can take you on a tour of our farm-based market map to explain what's happening in the state of AI in November of 2025. Tyler, do you want to take us through it?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so we like to use a lot of animal idioms on this show. A lot of these you might recognize, but we've kind of expanded out to try to cover all the major players. So this was made with Nano Banana Pro, extremely good model. But you will notice as you get more and more complex, it gets a little bit sloppy.
There's some slop, sir.
There's some slop in some places.
Okay.
But broadly, I think it did a very good job. Had a lot of fun making this.
Yeah, before Nano Banana Pro was released, we would have needed to hire somebody that maybe illustrates children's books. And if they were an expert, maybe they could have whipped something together in a day. This took you far longer than that of prompting over and over and over. But I'm very pleased with the outcome.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess let's just kind of go through each of the animals. Maybe let's just start with some of the more obvious ones, the ones we've talked about a lot on the show. So let's start over here with the piggies. So here we see the pigs at the slop trough.
Who's there?
So this is broadly this is just labeled as meta.
Yeah.
You could imagine a lot of people here, right? You could see Sora here.
Sure.
Bill Peebles.
Bill Peebles could be eating some slop.
Yes,
at the
meta
trough.
vibes.
Yep.
That makes sense.
I mean, just like broadly AI in general, some people think basically all AI is slop.
They do. There's been a lot of criticism.
Yeah, but I think that one's fairly clear.
You don't want to be you don't want to be the pig at the slop trough. Although sometimes maybe the profitability of being a slop farmer is underrated. Obviously, America has a lot of pigs that live at the trough. They eat from the trough. The pigs go to slaughter. They become bacon. They are sold into the economy. You can make a good living as a farmer who maintains a trough.
And then there's the Jeremy Gaffon take, which is we hate slop now because we know that in a few years it will no longer be slop.
Yes,
so
yes.
Don't count out the piggies yet.
This is the sloppiest slop will ever be.
That's
true.
Right. That's true. Okay, who else is on this market
so then
map?
let's move up. Let's see. We have the hen house here.
Yes.
And who's in the hen house is the fox.
The fox.
Right. And so this you can say is kind of Oracle in the same outline, right? Oracle's is the hen house.
Yes.
They're
And they let the fox
They're
in.
letting the fox in a little bit.
Potentially.
And, yeah, we'll see what ends up happening, but.
Again, now that I'm looking at this image, the fox isn't actually in the hen house yet.
But he's kind of circling it.
He's
Yeah,
circling
he's circling.
the hen house, and there's a question of how far into the hen house has the fox
And I
gotten.
think it's notable that the chickens don't seem too disturbed yet.
Yes,
know.
they're getting along because the fox could just be browsing, could just be stopping by, it could be a friendly fox.
Yeah.
But of course, it is if you have a lot of cash flow as a big company, if you have the ability to borrow billions or hundreds of billions in the debt market, you have to protect your hen house because
That's right.
Foxes might come by and might
Wandering
want to use you to co-sign a loan.
Yeah. Okay, so then
What else do we
we
have?
see the cash cow.
The cash cow.
This is
There it is.
NVIDIA.
The only profits in AI.
For a long time, I don't know if anyone has really unseated them. They're certainly the most profitable by far. I think for a long time they were making more than 100% of the profits across everything. Everyone else was losing money.
Yeah, now you're starting to see maybe some cracks with TPUs.
Okay.
But even then, I mean, they're still.
It's
doing
still a
extremely
cash
well.
cow.
Not
And we
yet.
just saw
On
they
the
just
open
beat
market.
they just beat earnings. I mean, we have an article here from the journal. NVIDIA results fail to quell AI worries. Not enough people are milking
That's
the
like
cash
I gave
cow.
you the perfect
or
quarter.
maybe the cash
I gave you
cow
the perfect quarter.
I know.
And you still sold
want
off.
60 billion or something in revenue. Yeah, I mean, maybe the cash cow has been overly milked and is out of milk at this point. But
I think it's still producing.
I think it does seem like it's still producing.
I
That
think
looks
it's
like a
still
healthy
producing.
cow to me.
Yeah.
That looks like the crown on the cow in particular definitely helps out there.
All right, moving over. What do we have going on
so,
here?
so here we have the bull in the China shop.
The bull
and
in the
that's
China
Elon.
shop,
I think
okay.
there's a couple ways you could read into this.
Yes.
So Elon, one is just kind of on maybe the data center infrastructure side, where he's kind of the bull. He's imagine that you're a contractor and you're building data centers for these companies, and then you see Elon come in and he does it in 8 months. What took you in a year and a half?
Yep.
He's kind of messing up your world, right?
Totally.
He's like, oh man, this bull, he's messing up my business. I need to be working way harder, way faster.
Yeah,
Because
he's
of
also
him.
shipping features so fast. Like
Yeah.
before people could even have a discussion over adult content, it was like, boom, Annie, here it is,
Yeah,
Valentine.
so this
he's
is the other
moving
way.
so fast.
This is the other way you could say he's the bull, because there's kind of this maybe unspoken rule between the model companies
Yeah.
where it's like, okay, we don't want to go too hard into the companion space. There were companies doing that, but they weren't. It wasn't the OpenAIs, it wasn't the Anthropics, it wasn't the Geminis.
Yeah.
And
And
then
Elon
now you
charged
see
in.
a frontier model
Yeah.
actually moving into there.
Also, you know,
Grok.
Grok is, of course, the maximally truth-seeking LLM. Just yesterday, I was asking Grok who is the strongest CEO in tech, and it told me that Elon Musk is the strongest by far. And it actually compared him to a bull. It said he was stronger than a bull and that he could beat a bull in a fight if he went head-to-head.
I believe it.
With his bare hands.
Absolutely right.
Yes, absolutely. Right.
Absolutely right.
What else is going on here?
So
I
then
bet
maybe
Claude.
let's
I bet
move
Claude
down.
would agree if you really pressed Claude on it. They'd say, "Yeah, you're absolutely right."
You're absolutely right. Who else is going on?
So let's move down. Here we have the lipstick on a pig. And I think
I like
this,
the pig.
you could say, is
The pigs are so happy.
Apple Intelligence.
Yes.
Right? I mean, although I feel like this is actually almost flipped a little bit, right? Because the pig is usually like the ugly thing, and then you add the makeup to make it look nicer.
Yeah.
But
Well, I think that's what they did here, right? They took a bad model and they dressed it up, and they said it was great, and they said you should buy a new iPhone because of it, and the model was bad. And,
That's true.
and there's no amount of marketing
Yeah.
that is
You
going to
could-
like change public perception once the
Yeah.
product hit the market.
You could also run the pig is the privacy focused iPhone ecosystem that is pretty difficult to just run in and throw AI on top of. Like Apple has been building a brand around, we don't access your data, we don't store your data, we would never train on your data, and that put them in an awkward position where they couldn't just snap their fingers and deliver a great AI experience, whereas Google has been, hey, we'll give you Gmail for free, but we'll also, probably train on wherever you go on the web and try and understand and route ads to you appropriately. Meta was in a similar position. And so those two companies were a little bit more equipped to just on day one go and deliver AI features. Apple had to put lipstick on their pig, which is
Yeah.
their privacy-focused
it was definitely
device.
more of like an afterthought. It was more of a kind of shallow integration, you could say. And then hopefully we'll see
just
with
the
the
marketing.
Gemini.
The marketing for Apple Intelligence felt like It felt like a lot of makeup on top of something. It was not a foundational rewrite of iOS in any way. It was
not a lot of substance.
It didn't feel like an entirely new thing. It just felt like little lipstick all over the place.
Yeah, and then before we go over there, let's go up here. We have the rooster.
Yeah, that's
So
Jordy.
Cock-a-doodle-doo.
This is Jordy calling the top.
Every morning.
Every morning
He wakes up and he
into
comes on the show. 11 a.m. sharp, he calls the top. He says, it's actually over now. It's so over, it's never been more
If you call the top
over.
every day, eventually you'll get it
Eventually
right.
you'll be correct.
It's true.
Eventually you'll be correct. Okay, what else do we have?
So then we have the dark horse.
The dark horse.
And this is SSI.
Okay.
Of course.
We're still yet to see anything really from SSI.
Elliot just charging around in the background.
Yes.
Yeah, kind of this elusive
Mysteriously.
figure.
Still hanging out there.
It's kind of, I mean, like, so the big kind of departures from OpenAI, it was Mira Murati and Ilya, you could say.
Yes.
And Mira Murati's company, Think Machines, I mean, they're
She's raising up rounds.
they have blog posts.
Yeah.
They do actually have a product. They do have a product.
Let's hear it for Why did you tell me earlier? Why'd you bury the lead? They have blog posts?
They're good blog posts. I like
So
them.
in a couple of years, we could be seeing Vibe Reels. Is that what you're saying? We could be seeing launch videos?
So they do have a product, right? It's like RL fine tuning.
Watch your head. There's a hoof.
The horse is really about to hit you. Okay.
But I mean, they're not really dark horse. Like they're a bright horse.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know if that's a phrase, but like you can see what they're doing.
They're
you know what
Clydesdale
they're,
or a beautiful
They're a
stallion.
unicorn 50 times over.
50 times
yeah.
over.
Yeah.
We didn't put a unicorn on here. That's an animal. Well, maybe for
Yeah.
the next
After a
next
certain
iteration.
point, I couldn't add any more. It would just it would get too sloppy.
Okay, what else do we have? What
so
else is
then-
going on the Aura farm?
So here we see another horse.
Yes.
And there's two ways you could look into this horse,
Yes.
right? One is this phrase, look a gift horse in the mouth.
Yes.
Right? Do you want to explain this, John?
Yes. So, do you know this phrase?
never
You don't know this phrase, looking
I
a gift
actually
horse in the
didn't know
mouth?
this phrase either.
Okay, so looking a gift horse in the mouth is if someone gives
Is this
you
like a term that was thrown around in the 80s?
Yeah.
Okay,
This
so
is back in
before
my
our
day.
time.
Back in my day. So obviously, just giving someone a horse is a valuable asset today, but also hundreds of years ago. It's always been a valuable tool on the farm. And the way that you assess the quality of a horse, one way to assess whether it's been taken care of, whether it's healthy, is to look in its mouth.
Always
look at the teeth.
look a gift horse in the mouth.
No, never look a gift horse.
Oh,
in the
because
mouth.
it would be offensive.
It's offensive.
after
if I
you
show
get
up,
the gift, after you get the gift later,
Imagine
after they leave.
Imagine if I got you a GT3 RS and you're like popping the hood and you're like, okay,
I'm like, oh, you
let me-
track this.
Yeah,
You track
yeah.
this.
You're feeling the tires.
me-
Oh, I don't know about this. It's not that good. Instead,
Oh, it
just
only
be,
has
"Thank
it only
you."
has 2,000 miles on it, but they're around the Nürburgring.
Exactly. That would be looking a GT3 RS in the tread. You don't look in the tread because yes, if I gave you a horse, just be happy that I gave you a horse. Don't
Yeah,
look
so
don't look in the mouth, don't assess it. And so what's happening with that?
So yeah, it's like you're not expressing gratitude.
Yes.
And so I think these are just the public market
Public market
investors.
investors.
Right? We've
They
been
should just
given
be
this
happy.
gift of AI.
Why are they selling their stocks right now?
Why are they selling?
They've been giving. They need to be buying
This
They need to be
beautiful gift,
buying more.
and they just don't want it.
Yeah.
They're selling.
They're
Nvidia's
selling.
down.
Yeah.
They beat earnings, guys.
They
Why are you
need to
not
be
being
buying
grateful?
the dip. They need to be buying more. They need to be levering up. They need to be going further
Exactly.
into the public markets
Yeah.
with every dollar they have.
Not financial advice
Not
at all.
Yeah,
At all.
Yep.
But instead, they are looking a gift horse in the mouth, saying, "Oh, can OpenAI afford all the different 1.4
Is
trillion?"
Andy
default
Jassy
swap.
the guy for the job?
Is the Google is Google set up to actually take advantage of AI? They're digging in a little bit too much.
Yeah.
They should just be happy that they've been given AI,
Exactly.
the next mega trend.
Exactly. So also the horse
Yes.
could be a workhorse.
A workhorse.
Right. And so I think you could say this is Amazon.
Yeah, they're just
It's a
kinda
bit
cooking
it's a bit
around.
hard to define Amazon's AI strategy.
It has
right?
been.
Part of it is they're building data centers for Anthropic, but they're definitely not getting overly ambitious. They're
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
not like getting over their skis. But they're just doing the hard work. They're building the data centers.
Yep.
They're serving
Yeah.
models.
Maybe not fast enough. They might not be building the data centers fast enough.
Yeah.
They might not be super aggressive. They're not show jumping. They're
Yeah.
just dragging the plow.
But
they're
they
just
are,
consistently
old
dragging the
reliable.
plow. Old reliable Amazons cooking along. They're staying out of the slop trough. They're not doing a deal. Amazon has not done a deal yet with OpenAI for the agentic commerce thing. Maybe that changes, but for now they're just plodding along. Who else we got
Exactly.
over here?
Let's go to the black sheep.
The black sheep.
So black sheep, there's also a lot of people that could fit in this.
Yes, of course.
But I think maybe Karpathy is one of them.
Yeah.
Right. He
Andre
has
Karpathy.
Some of these contrarian takes about maybe it's the decade of agents. Not
To
the
be
year of
clear, we're
agents.
not calling him a sheep. He's not.
It should be more of a black wolf.
Black Wolf. But
Yeah.
the idea is that he's standing out. A lot of people in his class of ultra respected, technologists, some of the most experienced. He's really been at Tesla. He's seen the AI wave. He's been working in it for decades. He's really worked on this.
He's printed off
Yes.
of it.
Yeah, he's done
and yet
so
he's
much.
not sitting with the rest of them saying, bah.
He broke rank. Even though he's worked at OpenAI, even though he's worked at Tesla, he broke rank. He went on the Dwarkesh Patel show and said, you know what? I think we're more in a decade of agents. I think AGI might not be right around the corner. He took a contrarian stance at a very controversial time, and but it was not.
And he popped the bubble with it.
He basically popped the bubble with it. Maybe.
No, of
we'll
course.
see.
Of
The
course,
bubble
the
will keep
elephant
going.
in the room. The elephant in the room was, in my view, really more of the 1.4 trillion. Right. That was the question.
Yes.
That was the big question. That was what everybody wanted to talk about, or at least understand better. Brad asked the question, and it's been downhill ever since.
Yes. And it is, the elephant in the room is in every conversation, every financing round at this point.
Exactly.
Is this deal predicated on a continuation of exponential growth in investment, in everything? Like how much more, how risky is this relative to the amount of froth in the market?
Yeah.
Never ask a woman her age, a man his salary, or a lab founder how they're going to spend 1.4 trillion.
Yeah. Or how they're going to pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who else we got on here?
So then in the top right, we have the bird's eye view.
Yes.
So I thought this
Situational awareness.
was, this is
Great
situational awareness.
awareness.
This is Leopold,
It's the perfect name.
right?
He has the situational awareness.
He's seeing everything.
Yes.
He's kind of the master of the board.
Yes,
He's
master
taken
of
his
the
bets,
board.
and he's been doing pretty well off them.
Yes.
Yeah, that one's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I
okay,
love
so
it.
then we go down. We have lion's share.
The lion's share.
Right, this is Satya. Satya taken great position
He's like,
in
I'll
OpenAI.
take,
I don't
I'll
know why
take
he's
a
on the
third.
top of a haystack.
I'll take a third of the company,
Yeah.
and you can give me 250 billion,
Yeah.
and I'll take 20% off the top
Yep.
And I'll take all the IP.
as well.
Yeah,
Everything.
I'll also take your chip, and I'll make it my chip.
Your chip is my chip.
The entire
Your chip
contract
is
was
not your
basic.
chip.
Your chip as me
The
chip.
entire OpenAI Microsoft deal is basically could just be summarized in one line. I get the lion's share. I get
Yeah.
the lion's share.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. It's fantastic.
Incredible deal maker.
Okay.
So let's go down here, and we see.
And we can zoom
Monkey
out a little
Business.
bit.
Yep. We
What do
see
we have?
Monkey Business. These are the podcasters.
That's us. We're
That's
having
us.
fun.
Yep.
We got props. We got all sorts of stuff. Sound effects. We need some. See, we need some monkey sound effects on there. We have a bunch of animal-themed sound effects we need to have more fun with. Anyway,
and then
What else is
maybe
going on?
let's go into the pond. We have the sitting duck.
yes, the sitting
this
duck
is
is
Reddit.
incredibly cute.
So Reddit.
Why was Reddit a sitting duck?
Yeah. So I think they broadly.
It's because whether or not you have a permit, you're getting like the hunters are going to get you.
I think Alexis Ohanian sort of laid this out, saying that that when Reddit did the deal to give the data to OpenAI, they didn't realize how valuable that data was going to be, and that relationship has grown, and so they were kind of the sitting duck, just sitting there. They didn't really, they kind of got caught off guard. Maybe could have trained their own model on their data internally. Maybe could have, maybe had something that was more of a valuable resource where they would have had more leverage if they'd waited a little bit. But
It is crazy that CoreWeave and Reddit are sitting at roughly the same market cap now.
very interesting. Yeah. Which one is more valuable over the next couple of years? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
They're both-
I feel like
they're both
Reddit
pretty
has
unique.
mostly been, they've kind of already gone out to the slaughter in a sense. Like every model company has trained.
You
off
would think
them.
so, but look at the market cap. It just keeps going up. Like Reddit's been, Reddit was sold for $5 million or something when it launched. Like it's been.
It was 10. It was 10.
It was 10.
To Condé Nast.
10 to Condé Nast. That's a crazy, crazy low valuation. And then eventually spun out. And then for a long time, it was in the hundreds of millions. And no one was thinking this is a tens of billions. Like for a long time, like the narrative was not, oh yeah, this will be orders of magnitude more than Snap.
Yeah.
No way. And then
Yep.
it just sort of finally came together.
So then.
Who's the headless chicken?
Yeah, let's go down a little bit, and we have the headless chicken. This is Perplexity.
Perplexity.
So I think Perplexity, they have a lot of different strategies.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them kind of seem opposed to each other, right? Maybe they're doing a browser. Maybe they're doing a Bloomberg terminal.
Maybe they're rebuilding Yahoo Finance.
Maybe they're building
the browser.
phone.
The browser, to their credit, I do see more positive reviews of their browser than any of the other AI browsers.
From independent folks or from
independent people.
We've had a lot of investors come on the show and say like, I love the browser, but it's hard to take that seriously.
Every investor that's invested in a browser says their browser is the best browser. So I don't listen to what they say, but I've just repeatedly seen people saying like the Perplexity browser is great. So whether or not that means a win, but the headless chicken thing, going over and giving $400 million to Snapchat, kind of I don't know. I think a lot of people good for Snapchat. Maybe
there's just a lot of stuff going on. It's the Snapchat deal, the trying to buy TikTok, trying to buy Chrome, launching a venture fund, Bloomberg terminal. It's like, are you competing with all of these? Really? You're going to beat TikTok and Chrome and Bloomberg and the next thing and seed the next great company? It is just a lot. It's a lot to process.
Yeah, like headless chicken is kind of like a fun thing to watch, and then people, love to talk about Perplexity. They love to say like, "Oh, we're all short Perplexity."
That's
right?
true.
It's like
Yeah. It's become consensus. Yeah. But let him cook. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Be fun.
So then, if we go down a little bit, we have the snake in the grass.
Have you guys ever witnessed a headless chicken?
No, I haven't.
Growing up in the country, I have.
You grew up in the country? What are you talking about? I thought you grew up with the East Bay Rationalists.
I was born in Berkeley, but I grew up in wine country.
Oh, okay.
And I have unfortunately watched my father take one of the chickens. Every now and again, a chicken needs to to move on to the next chapter. And as a child,
you sound like you're firing the chicken. We're a very amicable split.
I mean,
we're wishing the chicken the best.
Yes, it happens.
It's the next chapter.
I will say that it is a real thing. They run for at least 20 seconds or so. And I'll never forget it.
Well, before we move on, let me tell you about Cognition, the makers of Devin, the AI software engineer. Crush your backlog with your personal AI engineering team. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, so next we have the snake in the grass.
Snake in the grass.
This is the Chinese open source models, right?
Yes,
These are kind of lurking. I still don't really see that much coverage of Chinese open source models outside
Nobody
of
wants to talk about it.
Well, no one has bags, so they can't pump them.
It's almost it's a elephant in the room to some degree.
So this is where I sort of disagree with you, because snake in the grass feels like it's going to attack. Elephant in the room means we got to address it. It's like, it's totally possible that the entire open source LLM ecosystem is just like, there's like a $10 billion business there. It's sort of like, a stalking horse. Another animal-based analogy, but it's sort of a stalking horse for like, hey, Gemini and Anthropic, like, if you guys don't lower your prices, we will go to the open source option. And that's sort of how Linux works. It's like that you can kind of bid the closed source models against the open source models, but for all like the doomer takes around like, oh, Chinese open sources, like one day they're just going to snap their fingers and all the Manchurian candidates are going to activate in America.
I think
and everyone's
going to
be like, I didn't realize I was using Quen, and now I believe that nothing happened on Tiananmen Square. It's like, I don't believe that's
more of a threat to the. It's a very real threat to the business models of some of the closed source models.
Maybe, I don't know.
Again, it's putting it's certainly a pressure.
Yeah.
It's Kimmy is hot on everyone's tails.
Yeah, I mean, Brian Chesky, he was talking about
Brian
open
Chesky.
source.
The other thing is a soft power thing, right? Ask a Chinese open source model about Tiananmen Square.
I just don't think that's going to be that big of a deal. Like I don't see those are two very different things. Like one is like Brian Chesky inside of Airbnb.
It becomes a big deal if they proliferate all over the world, and I'm not saying it's the end of the world.
No. What I'm saying is that
with TikTok,
if you're a business owner like Airbnb, and you're like Brian Chesky at Airbnb, and you're deciding between Kimmy, some open source model like deeper in the stack, like you're not surfacing something that has like cultural relevancy or some sort of like, where American values come through. Like you're using it for like fraud detection, or you're using it to like transform every Airbnb listing into like grammar check every listing that comes through, like spell check it all. Like you're doing something that's very commoditized, and it's not this weird thing where you're going to inject the values of the Chinese people. I just see that as two separate things. Now if you had a whole bunch of people
I just think that LLMs
using,
will be the new, are effectively globally going to be history books, and if you have some control,
so that's
over
true as the
content-
application layer.
At the
I think
application
at the
layer.
application layer that matters. So I would be maybe more worried if it was like, oh, it turns out that OpenAI is going to just use DeepSeek now under the hood.
Sure,
that
but
would
I'm
be worrisome.
I'm even talking globally. A bunch of different application layer companies use these models because they're cheap and good.
Yeah.
And then they have like a very specific point of view that's not necessarily aligned to the West.
I just think that point of view is irrelevant in many automation use cases for
sure,
like
for
business.
sure. I'm not
workflows.
worried about Airbnb using Chinese models for like business process automation.
Yeah,
I also think I think you can probably kind of fine tune a lot of that stuff out.
totally.
Because like the
Back to Perplexity. They
Yeah.
did it. Didn't
Yeah.
they do DeepSeek 1776 or something
yeah,
like that?
I also did that.
You did that?
I did that actually before them, but so it's whatever. But
It's whatever. Oh, okay.
but
Now we
like-
see it's personal. That's why you put Perplexity there, because you got an axe to grind.
Yeah.
I did it before they did.
but like the Tiananmen Square stuff is probably just a fine tune that they like made it more Chinese.
yeah.
So you can just undo that.
Yeah, exactly. I agree.
One would assume.
Anyway.
But yeah.
Okay, so we
let's-
agree it's a snake in the grass, but unclear how poisonous the snake is, unclear the size of that snake.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on.
Let's move to
Who's the early bird that got the worm?
The early bird that got the worm. There's no sign here. That's kind of an artifact of the Nano Banana Pro. But early bird that got the worm. This is Josh Kushner.
I think so.
Right.
I like
he
that.
got the worm. The worm is OpenAI.
Yes.
He was very
early
on.
investor.
Early with
Yeah.
size.
Early
Early
with
with
size.
size.
Doubled down many times.
Yeah.
He got the worm. He's the
Just
early bird.
Incredible. Yeah.
Okay.
Unbelievable.
Why is Anthropic donkey work?
Donkey work.
What does
Actually,
donkey
I'm not
work mean?
100% sure that this is like a real phrase. But apparently, I was asking.
This is a Tyler coinage.
I asked GPT 4.5 and I asked Gemini 3 Pro.
Okay.
And they both said it was a real thing.
Okay, it's boring or laborious part of a job. It's drudgery, donkey work.
Yeah. So I think
Why is
there's a lot of ways you could do Anthropic.
Yeah, Anthropic's all over the place.
So in this case, I think it's kind of that Anthropic has gone very hard on coding. And API and enterprise.
Oh, okay,
this
okay,
kind of
yeah,
stuff.
the laborious
So
work.
It's kind of laborious.
Yeah, they're not doing like the really hot, sexy like.
They're not doing a
gen-
browser.
They're not
doing
solving
hot-
science.
Yeah, they're not doing consumer
Yeah.
science stuff. Yeah, they're doing the donkey work. This is
Yeah,
good. Okay,
so
I get
think
this.
it's some of the more laborious stuff.
I
But,
like
but there's
that.
a lot of ways you could
Dario's
do.
sitting there being like, who's going to take all the jobs?
Who's gonna take all the gonna
But
automate
you could
everything.
do Anthropic
Yeah.
as the scapegoat.
Yeah.
Right? David Sachs really does not like Anthropic.
That's true.
Right?
That's
They're kind
true.
of the
They get
scapegoat.
scapegoated a little bit. They never get invited to the White House.
Yeah.
Right.
They're the lame duck.
Lame
Or-
duck?
Is that a?
No, lame duck is when the president.
Oh wait,
is,
yeah,
that's
no,
the
no,
second
that-
term.
Forget about it. Ugly duckling. That's what I
Ugly
was thinking.
duckling a little bit.
That's the one I'm thinking.
There's a
of.
little bit of Chicken Little, the sky is
Yeah,
falling.
scaredy cat.
Scaredy cat.
Scaredy cat. They're
There's
worried
a
about
few-
safety.
There's a few of these, but
Yeah.
I like donkey work. That feels the most accurate for what they're doing. They're going
Yeah.
after the entry level white collar workers. They're doing the donkey work.
Yeah.
Google.
And then, so
I just love this
I
image.
think
I
this
knew
is
this
the
was
last
gonna
one.
wreck.
Google is the fat cat.
Google is
so
the fat cat.
Before we had Google snail's pace, I
Yeah.
think this would have been true maybe a year ago.
Fat cat's so much funnier. Look at that cat. It's so fat.
All-
I love it.
all the cash flow, all the
cash flow,
TPUs.
all the TPUs. They're GPU
Yeah.
rich. They're rich in every sense. They have
Yeah.
a ton of researchers.
They're releasing.
ton
I
of
mean, now
talent.
they have the best image model,
Yep.
the best text model, depending on
Yeah.
what benchmark you look at.
Yeah. They're on top of the world.
Yeah.
Okay,
On top of the
slightly concerned. We have a sign for Golden Goose, but there's
The
no
golden
goose.
goose was removed, but the
Golden
sign
goose was removed.
remains.
Who stole the Golden Goose?
Yeah, who killed the golden goose?
or is there just
So-
no gold? If there's no Golden Goose on in the AI Barnyard, is that
So-
bearish?
I think one take, maybe the golden goose.
Wait.
they
So
were
first, establish what the golden goose is. The golden goose is a goose that lays a golden egg one every day. And in the parable, in the story, the farmer kills the golden goose to get all of the gold inside. But it is revealed that by killing the goose, you no longer get the passive income from the golden eggs. So it's
Jack from the Beanstalk studied.
It's being a little bit too greedy, but we couldn't land on who the golden goose
So
was.
maybe one take is the golden goose. They were the neoclouds, and then the market is is taking the goose away.
Yeah.
Right? CoreWeave not in the past what month
Yeah.
they've been selling off a little bit.
CoreWeave continues to lay golden eggs, but the market got overheated, and so that
Yeah.
sort of killed
And they're
the
taking
gains
gold.
or something.
Yeah. And
I
the
don't
gold
know.
is the GPUs, subsidized GPUs
I don't know.
in the data center.
It's not quite.
I mean,
there's-
there's
I don't know
something
if
with
there's a super
the
clear-
Bitcoin miners that just had a lot of energy that they had effectively prepaid for that they're
Yeah.
unlocking some value from.
Oh well.
Yeah. But I think that's all of them.
I think this is a pretty. Now it's pretty clear. This helps you understand how AI is
Yeah.
playing out.
There's no more questions.
No more questions. If you can see this infographic, it really makes everything crystal clear. Crystal clear. That's great. Well, thank you for taking us through that.
Great work, Tyler.
And let me tell you about Adio, the AI native CRM. Adio builds, scales, and grows your company to the next level. We can get started. One company that didn't make the cut for our infographic was, of course, AMD. And fortunately, there is a great profile in the Wall Street Journal of Lisa Su, the CEO of AMD.
And let's pull this up because this is a fantastic picture minus
a very weird reflection.
very
going
weird
on
reflection
in
in the glass.
And so, if you zoom in on this, there's something that is right in her nose that looks like a bugger or something. It's a very odd choice of image. Of course, it's just a reflection on the glass. The photo, otherwise, the way she's positioning herself,
It's powerful.
she did her job. Everything else, everything looks great. From her perspective, she looks great. But the photographer just didn't quite catch that one reflection, and so it just gives a very odd look. But anyway, let's dig into the article. The chip CEO staring down NVIDIA and talk of an AI bubble. At a board meeting in late 2022, Lisa Su, chief executive of chip designer AMD, announced that she was radically changing course. Quote, "I'm going to pivot the entire company," she told the directors gathered around a boardroom table at the company's Austin campus. "The rise of AI was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity," she said, "and the company had to put AI at the center of its entire product line." 3 years later, the Santa Clara, California-based company has nearly quadrupled in size, its market value rising from $90 billion to more than $335 billion. Despite a recent pullback, AMD's strategy of positioning itself at the center of the global AI race has paid off handsomely, making Su into a billionaire and her company into one of the only viable designers of powerful chips needed to power advanced AI models. In a market that has recently been completely dominated by NVIDIA, Su is showing that there may be a place for a strong number two that can compete
Insane
on price.
flow, by the way. Check this out.
Yeah, look at that. She's 56 years old. She has a PhD in electrical engineering from MIT and a deep understanding of the physics behind her company's products. She developed a reputation as a giant slayer by outcompeting market leader Intel a decade ago to take the lead in producing central processing units, or CPUs. Now, she's staring down the ultimate Goliath in NVIDIA, the world's most valuable company and the foremost maker of the chips that power AI data centers. AMD will have to deliver on its promise to produce chips that are comparable to NVIDIA's. Most of the
Staring down her own cousin.
It is.
Of course.
It's true. Investors bid up AMD's stock price in October after the company announced a marquee deal with Oracle and OpenAI, which have both agreed to buy tens of thousands of AMD's newest generation of chips, known as the MI450.
Mika
You're
says
laughing
the
at-
Jensen Su Thanksgiving must be wild.
I wonder if they're close enough to actually have Thanksgiving.
Their first
together.
cousins once removed.
Yeah,
so
that feels
I
like
think at that
I-
point,
it just depends on how hard you go for Thanksgiving. Some people have, how big is your Thanksgiving? Do you go?
I have a pretty small.
I have a pretty small family too. My in-laws, but we're still doing. We're talking 20 people maybe is like a typical Thanksgiving. But I know there are some people that are like, let's get 100 people together. Let's turn it into Woodstock, which I'm down for. Honestly, it's fun. Maybe you know what you need to do this Thanksgiving? You need to get everyone who's cooking for your Thanksgiving dinner on Linear. It's the system for modern software development. It's a purpose-built tool for planning and building products. The product you're building this Thanksgiving is a beautiful, bountiful feast. It's a feast, folks. And you need Linear to help you plan who's doing what, who's making the pumpkin pie, who's making the cranberry sauce. Can you assign tickets? Can you close those tickets?
Are you using AI agents?
Using AI agents? I think that there's something here.
Everyone wants to build coding agents. Nobody wants to build feast agents. And I think that's wrong.
Get on Linear. I love it. The OpenAI deal turbocharged the roadmap, said Sue. It represents a huge vote of confidence in the MI450, which, of course, we've seen from SemiAnalysis is performing very well. And AMD has caught up a ton this year. They've just been on a tear, taking feedback from all over the tech industry, integrating it very quickly, and actually outperforming NVIDIA with certain models. And all of that's been chronicled by the folks over at SemiAnalysis in their Inference Max model. So the growing AI market is a huge opportunity, and we want to make sure that we have deep partnerships that enable to get us a big piece of that. The rest will handle itself. The deal making was on display again this week when the company said it would work with Cisco and Saudi Arabian AI venture firm to build a large cluster of data centers in the kingdom. Sue attended a black tie dinner.
Humane?
I think so. Sue attended a black tie dinner for Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman alongside other executives at the White House Tuesday, and AMD sent a representative to a U.S. Saudi Arabia investment forum on Wednesday. Until now, data centers have mostly been entirely NVIDIA's market. One tech analyst said AMD is in a position to take a more meaningful piece of that. So $1 trillion a year. Let's get into it. At the heart of Sue's strategy is her belief that there is insatiable demand for computing power, and that as the market for AI grows, the companies offering the best and most reliable AI infrastructure will thrive. She said she believes AI is not a zero-sum game, and that recent concerns about an overheated market for chips and data centers are exaggerated. In recent weeks, the massive spending on data centers have intensified concerns that an AI bubble is building. AMD's stock, which had jumped nearly 60% in October, has fallen about 20% this month. I'm not concerned about an AI bubble, Sue said in the interview. I do think that those who are thinking that way are a bit too short-sighted. They don't really see the power of the technology.
It's actually only down, I don't know exactly when this article was released, but 13 3/4 in the last month.
Yeah.
So better than some others.
This is not the time to stay on the sidelines and worry, hey, am I over-investing? She said. It's much more dangerous if you underinvest than if you overinvest, in my opinion. Let's go. I love that. A year ago, she predicted that the market for AI chips would hit $500 billion in sales annually by 2028. At an investor presentation last week in New York, she was even more optimistic. The market for AI and data center computing, she said, will reach $1 trillion a year by 2030.
It's interesting that she underpredicted, or seemingly underpredicted, because Jensen by himself is saying that NVIDIA has a line of sight to 500 in 2026.
$500 billion. And that's just for them revenue full year.
Yeah.
That is a lot of money. Well, very exciting. Well, speaking of NVIDIA, Sue is also helping to capitalize on an inflection point in AI. Many executives in the chips industry, including NVIDIA chief Jensen Huang, expect demand to shift from clusters designed to assist in large training runs to inference. And inference doesn't require chips with as much computing muscle as training does, according to the Wall Street Journal. As AI models like ChatGPT and Gemini become increasingly integrated into daily life, and as companies design thousands of enterprise software tools that rely on AI models, demand for inference functions is about to go up by 1 billion times, Huang said last month. Sue and Huang are distant cousins, but they didn't meet until both were established executives. That's interesting. So I don't think they'll be hanging out at Thanksgiving together if they just met recently. But maybe.
Unless that's just a story, and their entire family, both their family lines have been colluding to corner the AI chip market for generations.
It does feel like a storyline from Dune or something. AMD has a strong line of inference computing chips, but has struggled to design chips powerful enough to compete with NVIDIA in training. Let's see. They go into a little bit of her backstory. She was Taiwan-born, Queens raised. She worked for IBM, where she focused on designing products according to the needs of big customers. When she took over as CEO of AMD in 2014, the company had a market value of less than $3 billion. It's up 100x since then. She did deals with Chinese partners that helped stabilize the company's finances and move the chip designer deeper into the processors that powered PCs and data centers, capitalizing on Intel's weakness. Today, AMD sells an estimated 41% of data center CPUs, up from essentially 0% 5 years ago. What a run. It was that success that allowed AMD's board of directors to trust Sue when she proposed in that fateful board meeting in 2022 to pivot the company to go head-to-head with NVIDIA. One of the board members told this story. She had a vision around our ability to be AI from endpoint to data center and everything in between, said Talwalker, one of the board members who attended the meeting. She had the conviction of the need and the need to move fast. What do you think about vision, Jordy? Is it good that she had vision?
I think vision is still underrated.
You're pro-vision.
Pro-vision.
It's a hot take. Some people don't like vision. Some people are anti-vision these days.
Yeah.
I think I land on the side of pro-vision. I think it's important.
Sue was able to dispense with Intel as a competitor because Intel had self-inflicted wounds, said Daniel Newman, CEO of research firm Futurum Group. That's in sharp contrast to NVIDIA, a company that's expected more than $200 billion in revenue next year, that has gotten thousands of AI developers hooked on the proprietary software that NVIDIA chips rely on.
Okay.
But NVIDIA can't make enough chips to keep up with demand, and the OpenAI deal proved that large AI companies are eager to diversify their supplier base.
We got some major update here on Lisa Su as a celebrity. As AMD's become a bigger player, she's begun to embrace the spotlight. Earlier this year at an industry summit in Paris, Su was treated like a celebrity, with many young women asking her to take selfies and sign autographs. That's amazing. Jensen Huang was signing autographs a couple months ago. That was this year, maybe.
I think it was like 5-6 months ago.
Yeah.
That one.
Well,
image.
now she's also signing autographs. As the industry grows, more and more celebrities are minted. Well, in July, Sue attended an AI summit where Trump rolled out his AI strategy. When she addressed the audience, Sue pulled out one of the company's chips out of her pocket and said it had 185 billion transistors and took 9 months to make. Such chip can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Trump later mentioned her in his speech as one of the notable executives in attendance. She was still in the shadow of Wong, however, who Trump asked to stand while the crowd applauded. What a job you've done, the president said to the NVIDIA CEO. So he's like, thanks for Lisa Su for being here, but let's give it up for Jensen Huang. And he's given it up too much for Jensen. He's not having a balanced approach.
I don't think it's necessarily his job to.
Well, 10 times the market cap, 10 times the applause, perhaps.
That's right.
Market cap weighted by applause. Let's see. Over the next decade, AI will transform every industry, every business, every product, every interaction. Our chips are enabling this massive new revolution. Well, very, very interesting. I would like to learn more about Lisa Su as a celebrity. I want to see more deep dives, more Page 6 style writing is what I'm looking for.
Maybe a New York Post cover.
Exactly. A lot of caught on the street. A lot of like what type of coffee does she like? That's what we need to know. We need to get her in the mansion section. Should we do some mansion section?
We do. We should.
There's a big question in the mansion section today. First, let me tell you about Graphite.dev, code review for the age of AI. Graphite helps teams on GitHub ship higher quality software faster. The question I know everyone has been asking is $200 million the new $100 million in luxury real estate? What do you think?
Many people have been asking that.
So there's a $200 million house in Indian Creek, a $250 million house in Bel Air, a $300 million house in Aspen, and a $205 million house in Palm Beach. And this is funny because we've reviewed like almost all of these houses. We've actually
Gold Rock says Lisa Su on Hot Ones.
That would be great. Maybe on Theo Vaughn as well. A surge of ultra-rich buyers has pushed asking prices to new extremes, yet many headline-grabbing mega mansions languish on the market or trade for a fraction of their debut numbers. Just a decade ago, the $100 million price tag was still considered a new frontier for luxury real estate. The first 9-figure home sale occurred in 2011. Wow. By 2019, there had been about 20 sales recorded at that price point. Now, real estate insiders say a new pricing benchmark is setting the tone for the high-end market, $200 million. Since 2025, at least 5 major U.S. properties have listed for $200 million or more, mostly concentrated in South Florida. On Indian Creek, a private island near Miami Beach, Florida, often called the Billionaire Bunker, cosmetic surgeon Dr. Aaron Rollins and his wife Maureen Rollins listed their unfinished waterfront estate for $200 million earlier this month. About 70 miles north in Palm Beach, a circa 2005 mansion, once owned by the late Frank and Maureen Wilkins, is asking $205. In Aspen, the longtime home of California billionaire Stuart and Linda Resnick, listed for $300. The listings raise the question, is this aspirational pricing, or as the ranks of the global billionaires expand at a rapid clip, is it possible that the top of the market has actually doubled? I would say yes, it's totally possible. Look at the run-up in the stock price. The assets are more valuable than ever. There's going to be a massive wave of wealth created from the AI boom. And
I would not want to be in the market for a single-family home within 20 square miles of OpenAI.
Yeah. There was some post. I don't know if it made it in the timeline, but there was some post about there's like 40 people that are looking for houses in the $5 to $7 million range in North San Francisco, and there's none for sale because
all cash offers.
I'm sure. From the liquidity.
Also, Porsche allocations are going to be pretty rough out there.
You think so?
I expect it.
Did you see the electric?
Matt in the chat says Lisa Sue is a car enthusiast.
No way.
Drives a metallic blue graphite Porsche.
Ooh, I like that.
She apparently names them after her chips. So she has cars Ryzen, Epic, and Radeon.
Cool. That's cool. That's very fun. This Resnick, this Bel Air house that's 250. I remember digging into him, and he was part of the telecom build-out in 2001. And so even though his company went bankrupt, he still wound up with a fortune that allowed him to buy a huge house.
Yep.
You could think about the same thing happening in the AI boom.
Here's another note. AMD sponsors the Mercedes-AMG F1 team, which has a new co-owner, the CEO of CrowdStrike. So all eyes on George's team this weekend. We'll see how they do with their new co-owner.
Before we move on to our next story, let me tell you about Fin.ai, the #1 AI agent. AI that handles your customer support, the #1 AI agent for customer service. Silicon Valley estate sells to mystery buyer. I want you to guess who it is, Jordy. I don't know. I want you to make wild guesses.
Wild guesses.
In California, Silicon Valley, a roughly 12-acre estate designed in classical Italian style has sold for more than sold for $56 million. You can
there we go.
There, known as Via del Prato. The property is located in Portola Valley, one of the country's wealthiest towns. The sellers are venture capital investor Bandel Carano and his wife Paula Carano, who built the estate after buying the land in 2013 for $13.625 million, property records show. Have you looked up Bandel Carano and what deals he did to be able to afford such a wonderful house? I would love to know the story of his venture capital work. The Caranos put the home on the market for $85 million in February. The most recent that was asking price was $65. It went for $56. It's the priciest home to sell in Portola Valley to date. The prior record was $35 million for a 13-acre estate. The buyer, who currently lives in San Jose, searched for several years before purchasing the Portola Valley property. But they didn't want to name the client. The Caranos didn't respond to a request for comment. Massive mess. You got to get
Bandel Carano was an investor in Polycom Inc.
Ooh, wait, the Polycom? No way. That's amazing. Well deserved. One of the most iconic conference call phones.
We used to have one.
We used to have one on our
desk.
It's
while we did
probably in the
show.
studio. It was a prop that we used for a long time. I think it's in the back.
You got to bring it back.
We never actually used it. We wanted to have it.
How long
set
until
up.
somebody creates like an AI Polycom?
I don't know. Yeah, we. That's so crazy. He did the deal in Polycom and made a bag. I love it. Listing agent said, okay, they built after raising an old home, completing the project in 2021. In addition, the roughly 12,300 square foot main house property also has a pool house. And then another unfinished 5,000 square foot building has a ballroom and a wine cellar. Wow.
There we go.
They designed the property. He's a general partner at Oak Investment Partners, a venture capital firm with offices in Wilton, Connecticut, and Menlo Park. In 2024, the Carranos listed a nearly 2,000-acre ranch outside of Bozeman, Montana. Portola Valley had a median sale price of $5.5 million. Interesting. What else is in here that we wanted to look at? So there is some articles on San Francisco. What's going on there? San Francisco is back after pandemic-related struggles and growing up. Affluent young families demanding space have elevated the 94127 zip code, which is anchored by the walkable West Portal Village Center and encompasses desirable residential neighborhoods such as St. Francis Wood. This West Side pocket reliably offers a rare San Francisco luxury, detached single-family homes with yards. The suburbia in the city lifestyle has recently propelled the zip code to rival historically more expensive city enclaves. In October, its $2.5 million median listing price was second only to the $2.7 million median price in premier address Pacific Heights. Interesting. So there are a bunch of shops. People are moving in. The median price per square foot is $952, and the houses are moving. 37 days on the market is all it takes for the median house to find a new buyer.
Pretty good.
Let me tell you about Profound. Get your brand mentioned in ChatGPT. Reach millions of consumers who use AI to discover new products and brands. Should we let AI ruin the M-Dash? I think the game's over.
It's over.
I think AI has already ruined the M-Dash. I think it's ruined. I think we have to move on from it entirely. But Joel Stein at the Wall Street Journal has another take. Joel says, don't let AI ruin the M-Dash, and writes a defense of the newly controversial punctuation mark. So
it's so funny because M-Dashes are not even the way that I first identify a lot of AI writing.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's often it's not this, it's that hits way harder.
totally.
Joel says, a few weeks ago, my 16-year-old son, Laszlo, a student journalist, received a tip for his school newspaper. A source had told him that the administration, which had banned all use of AI, had used it to write an email to parents. The email in question was certainly boring enough to be written by ChatGPT, but it was also boring enough to be written by a school administrator. We ran the text through 2 AI detection tools, and both determined that there was a 0% chance a computer wrote it. I don't know how a computer figures out if it's dealing with another computer, but I'm guessing it asks which of 9 photos are motorcycles. So why did this source think AI had written it? Because the email contained M-dashes. The M-dash, a punctuation mark a bit longer than a hyphen that denotes a long pause, has become the black light on the hotel sheets for AI shamers, a sign that an essay...
Black light on the hotel sheets is a good turn of phrase.
A sign that an essay, a letter, or any kind of written work was written by a machine and not a human.
Yeah.
The M-dash is now a GPTism and is not advisable unless you want people to think your writing is an output of an LLM.
Yep.
On Instagram, the beauty influencer Lux Jen warned that if people don't want to be accused of using AI, they should take out the ChatGPT hyphen.
They just call it the ChatGPT hyphen. It's
Last
crazy.
week, OpenAI CEO posted on X the following brag: small but happy win. If you tell ChatGPT not to use M-dashes in your custom instructions, it finally does what it's supposed to do. It's interesting that they just didn't release an update that eliminates it. Like they seem to think it's a feature, not a bug, and they're asking people to kind of opt out of it by doing custom instructions, which I'm sure like 1% of the user base actually uses.
Yeah, it's
custom
weird. It's
instructions.
weird that they couldn't just have a custom instruction that goes over all of ChatGPT that just says like, you don't need to never use the M dash. Just let's turn it down by 90%.
Yeah. All this M-dash shaming has been upsetting because I, a professional writer, love an M-dash.
And he uses a lot of M dashes.
In my writing, the ChatGPT tells me I use 11 M-dashes every 1,000 words.
Wow.
Other
Every 100
professional writers use them a lot too, 4.4 times more than the average person. These numbers, upon investigation, could be highly inaccurate since I got them from ChatGPT, which explains one reason why my son's schools bans it. But the point is, M-dashes are loved by professionals. This is starting to make a lot more sense. What is ChatGPT trained on? A lot of professional writing.
They literally have a deal with the Wall Street Journal.
And so if it's used 4.4 times more than in everyday writing, it's just going to come up a lot.
Yeah. I mean, if you tried to, you have to give it some direction on like what the output's going to sound like. Yeah. And if it just winds up being like, yeah, make it sound like a Reddit comment. It's like, okay, well, that could go all over the place. That could be very, very weirdly worded. And it just would not be very consistent.
Yeah. So the point is, M-dashes are loved by professionals. Why? Because more than any other punctuation mark, the M-dash is deeply human. It's the breath marks of Emily Dickinson, the stream of consciousness of Virginia Woolf, the head-clogging maximalism of David Foster Wallace, or the self-aggrandizing asides of Joel Stein. It's also the mark of discretion when Holden Caulfield tells his writer that he loves it when his classmates digress during a presentation. He says, I don't like it when somebody sticks to the point all the time. The boys that got the best marks in oral expression were the ones that stuck to the point all the time. I admit it. And he admits it naturally with an M-dash. Large language models consume a lot of the best writing out there, which is why they use M-dashes. Unlike most people today who think a period is a rude way of screaming, AI believes in punctuation. If there's anything to take away from the M-dash scare, it's that we should use more of them, because while most people can't find one on their keyboard and wouldn't know when to use it if they did, that's pretty funny. The M-dash requires more nuance than a thumbs up, a heart, or an eggplant. It's less jarring than parentheses, but a bigger interruption than commas. It's the length of an M, which sets it apart from the boring, shorter N-dash. In the men's locker room for writers, we make fun of N-dashes.
Interesting.
Most of all, we should use M-dashes because they are a declaration of humanity in the face of AI's onslaught. If only ordinary people would learn how to use them.
Do you see this link? Shorter N-dash? For some reason, it linked to n-in, and that website just goes nowhere.
N-dash.
I don't know. It's
on
just
an
like
Indian domain.
I don't know. That's just like a mistake or something. They should correct that because n-in doesn't go anywhere. Yeah, I have never really used M-dashes. I like this take. I mean, I agree with this. This makes sense. He should defend the castle. Maybe the bigger tell to your earlier point is around that contrastive parallelism. That it's not this, it's that. That's what that's called. And that contrastive parallelism, I was wondering about that. And I went through a bunch of the old scripts that I'd written for YouTube, and I couldn't find a single example of ever using that style, that structure. I'd written a lot about a lot of different tech companies, and I'd never said, I've made a whole video about NVIDIA. In my NVIDIA video, I never say NVIDIA isn't just a GPU company. It's
Google isn't just a search company.
I never
it's
said
a holding company of the future.
Yeah. I don't know how that got baked in. I think that's maybe from marketing, from like marketing lingo, because I was trying to run the benchmark of does this contrastive parallelism creep in more when you ask the let's see, what is it? It's antithetical parallelism or contrastive construction or correlative conjunction pairs. This is the term. I learned this from them. But that antithetical parallelism, it's not this, it's that.
We're not writing a story. We're
I never
creating
use
a legacy.
And it has a sound that sounds like marketing. It sounds like marketing. Like I feel like you could probably go through the New Yorker or the Wall Street Journal and you'll see a lot of M dashes,
sound like marketing.
but you won't see a lot of antithetical parallelism. And so I feel like the antithetical parallelism is an even bigger tell. And Tyler, what do you think?
I also think it's interesting. Like you would imagine that a lot of these like GPT-isms would be, they would only be like with one model, right? It's like just 4.0 does that weird thing.
Totally.
But it's like not that at all.
Yeah,
It's also not just like OpenAI models.
Yep.
Like yesterday I tried the Gemini 3 Pro and I asked write an ad for GT3 RS.
Yeah.
And then so I'll just read the start.
Listen to this.
There's a moment at 9,000 RPM where the world stops. The noise isn't just sound, M dash, it's frequency. The vibration isn't just an engine, M dash, it's a heartbeat. Like it's like the exact same.
It's very
like,
similar.
diction.
It's similar.
It's very strange. I wonder like why this is. Like there's a case you could say that models are just like training off each other, but it seems that seems like not something that they're doing.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just kind of landed in this zone where that is what is seen as good or something. I don't know. And it's just like sort of decided that antithetical parallelism is the greatest thing. So thank you to Joel Stein at the Wall Street Journal for writing this article. I will support you in your fight to keep the M dash, but I want to hear your take on contrastive
but actions
construction.
Actions speak louder than words, John. Are you gonna just rip like 20 M dashes in your next essay?
So the problem is that I have never. I'm the one who doesn't know how to find it on my keyboard. I'm who he's talking about.
Just hit dash dash space.
Find it on your keyboard and wouldn't know when to use one if they did. I don't know when to use it. I don't know where to find it. It wasn't taught to me in English class. I just never learned.
I'll teach it. I'm teaching it to you right now.
Okay.
Go on your keyboard.
Yes.
Hit dash dash space on
Dash
iMessage,
space.
and it will create it for you.
Okay, but
You
when
can
do
also
I
do
use it?
Shift Option Dash.
Shift Option Dash. I don't know. I think you can't teach an old dog I don't think you can teach an old dog new tricks. I don't know if it's possible to teach me to use an M dash like reliably. I think I might just throw them in randomly. What if I start using like 2 M dashes next to each other? Just throw people off. No one would expect that, right? It's completely unexpected. So you'd be like, oh well, like this looks like AI, but it's something weird.
It'd be a really bad model.
Whatever model he used was terrible. Using GPT-2 for this. Anyway. Let's move on. Let's do some timeline, and then I think we can come back to this article on solvency if we have more time. But first, let me tell you about Turbo Puffer, serverless vector and full text search, built from first principles on object storage,
used by Cursor,
fast,
Notion, Linear Anthropic,
10x cheaper, extremely scalable. I like when we're talking over each other during the ad reads. That's really the flavor we want to bring through. I love it. Okay, so. There's a major shakeup going on at TBD Labs.
Augustus
Odina is out, and I'm giving him a follow for this. He's going independent. Free agency?
Yesterday, I resigned from TBD Labs / Meta AI. I wasn't there for very long, but I think I got a few useful things done.
Nice.
It's an impressive group of people, and it's especially impressive that it got assembled as quickly as it did with such a high talent bar at a large company. Quote, unquote, founder mode is real and good. I will certainly miss my coworkers there. I think now is an unusually high leverage time to pursue ambitious new projects at the intersection of AI and other technologies. Please reach out to me if you're interested in that sort of thing, and I expect I will have something more detailed to share in not too long.
Is that the sound of 1,000 venture capitalists writing term sheets with blank numbers on them?
I messaged him yesterday, and he said, fan of the show, would be honored to be on the show when he's ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. Bernie Sanders.
Okay. What's happening with Bernie?
Firing shots.
He's taking shots at the AI oligarchs. He says, here are some of the most powerful AI oligarchs in the world enjoying a private dinner with a dictator who murders his own citizens with a bone saw. Whoa. Does anyone really believe they want to wipe out poverty or improve life for ordinary Americans? I don't. And he's sort of mogging Greg Brockman here because he leaves Greg Brockman's net worth. He doesn't even try and estimate it. He just says question mark, question mark, question mark.
Bernie Sanders' age.
75.
Guess again.
78.
Guess again.
77.
Guess again.
80.
Guess again.
82.
Guess again.
I have no idea.
84.
84. Oh, he's up there.
He's up there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Grandpa is He's pissed.
He's pissed.
He's absolutely pissed.
But what does that have to do with him not
but
being able to look up Greg Brockman, the CTO of Stripe, do a back of the envelope, what's Stripe trading for in the private markets, call some secondary brokers, if you're Bernie, you just need to call a bunch of secondary brokers, understand where Stripe is trading, then work backwards from what his Stripe stake is, then call Satya Nadella, ask him based on
he could have
equities,
used.
are you marking OpenAI at 500, or do you think you should mark it more at like 400 or maybe 600? Are you bullish on that? All of that goes into the DCF.
If
you
really
should build a
wanted
spreadsheet, and then you would have a fair market valuation for Greg Brockman's net worth, and you wouldn't need to use question marks.
Chat got pretty close, 83 and 85.
Okay.
Good work. But if he really wanted to stick it to these American AI oligarchs, he could have used like Kimmy to do the kind of analysis that you were talking about. He would have gotten a lot closer.
Yeah.
I think we probably need to do more to define oligarch in the AI era, right? Does a $1 billion
I thought people
network.
would use plutocracy.
Plutarch is a person.
But what's the
Plutarch's
one?
Lives.
Plutocrat. There's one that just means technocracy. There's one that specifically means wealth. That's like wealth, where the plutocrats. That's it, right?
Yeah.
Plutocracy is.
Plutocrat, yeah.
I think plutocracy is plutocrat.
But also, I mean, does Bernie not realize that Greg Brockman?
Yeah, government by the wealthy is plutocracy. Oligarchy is something else. Oligarch.
That's just ruled by a few, I think.
Ruled by a few. Interesting. A small group of people having control of a country, an organization, or institutions. Well, you know what Bernie's got to do? He's got to start a lab, start a foundation model company, and compete in the free market.
I like it. I like that.
And then
active retirement.
Yes, and then start trading on public.com. Investing for those that take it seriously. Multi-asset investing, trusted by millions.
I don't blame Bernie for being a little bit salty at this point, because he's never on those charts of the best political traders in history,
true.
right?
That's true.
He's been having to sit there and watch Nancy Pelosi
Just
go
run it
on
up.
one of the most insane runs.
And he's just missed out.
And
the FOMO must be crazy. Yeah. Every day he's opening up and Nancy's up another mill. And he's just sitting there like, I missed it. The trade of the century. Sam 3D. Meta. We talked about this a little bit. What?
Yeah, Atharva is hyped on Meta's new model, Sam 3D.
I forgot about this. So this was purposely released at the perfect time, because we were just earlier accusing Meta of slopping it up at the slop trough with Meta vibes. And, there's a little bit of a narrative that was emerging, which was like, okay, Zuck did this whole talent war. He acquired a ton of talent, clearly invested crazy amounts, huge 5 gigawatt plan, Hyperion, Prometheus. He's going all in on AI. And then the first thing that he came out with was like Meta Vibes, this sort of like sloppy TikTok AI clone that didn't really break through and just kind of frustrated everyone. And the timeline did not appreciate it, did not like it. And so at that point, I think everyone was calling for, okay, you gotta deliver something that's actually solid. You gotta deliver something that's useful, that's valuable. Maybe it's a contribution to open source. Maybe it's even just an API for coding that's really good, or a model that does something unique, special.
Or just free ASI for everyone.
That would also be acceptable. Yes, that would definitely reset the narrative on is Meta slopping it up at the trough. But this is an example of them not slopping up at the trough. This feels elevated. This feels useful. I'm very excited for where this gets implemented all over the place. This feels like a very serious organization, like the work of a serious organization, the work of a group that's taking their work seriously and not just trying to, score points, go viral, just make a couple extra bucks. They're actually doing some real research. So I was excited about this. What was your take?
Yeah, I mean, this is really cool. I think people have probably just over-indexed too much on Vibes.
Yep.
Because I don't even really think of Vibes as being like an Alexander Wang project. It's not like they trained a new model. That's not their model. It's just like a bunch of project managers who made a new app.
Yep.
So I think there's still like a ton of really good researchers. I'm very excited to see what they actually put out, because I assume that it's going to be super great.
And it's hard to know without actually knowing the usage of Meta AI, you can look into it a little bit by just looking at the App Store charts and seeing the kind of traction they have. But I think in hindsight, they would have just been much better off not releasing that or not making it a moment.
Dude, you're telling me you don't like Meta vibes, dog? What are you doing?
That is Trump in an orange and rainbow suit dancing.
I thought we had PTZ. I thought we could zoom in on this. Yeah, I mean, there's some golden stuff. You know what I was actually thinking about was it's kind of a do nothing win situation, right? Because I feel like at least this year, the vast majority of AI slop will be consumed on Instagram. Like, no matter even if it gets made in the Sora app, like it's coming over to Instagram if it's going to do well, and it's going to be distributed on the other platforms. And so, I would be very closely watching the actual user minutes, the time on site. But I would imagine that the amount of Sora generated content, the user minutes is like 100 times on Instagram than on the actual Sora app, just because it's such a bigger audience. And so even though it's made by Sora, it's distributed elsewhere. Anyway.
Yeah, let's check in with the
What's going on?
App Store
Google's
chart.
Genius.
Sora is still number 9 in the charts.
Not bad.
CapCut and Temu, Shop Like a Billionaire, are sitting just ahead alongside Go Wish, your digital wish list.
Well, let me tell you about numeral.com. Let Numeral worry about sales tax and VAT compliance. Compliance handled so you can focus on growth.
Luxury watch guy is concerned about the Bitcoin sell-off because he says there are going to be so many effing APs on the market. Facepalm.
Oh no!
Flooding the aftermarket. So we'll see how that nets out. But the cryptocurrency industry certainly has been known to enjoy an AP.
Yeah. Google's genius. By not selling TPUs, Google allows NVIDIA to maintain high GPU pricing, which in turn props up price of inference. Google then captures that inference price premium by running TPUs for inference on GCP. This is a conspiracy theory by Dave 3 and 30 Tepper. I'm not sure how real that is.
Yeah, there's also
like they are going to sell TPUs.
Just because you have two players in the market, doesn't mean you can sort of have what happens in the soda industry, right? But effectively, like
I was thinking about the GLP-1 market. There's just a lot of demand. You don't need to cut prices. The price
and you also understand that you can get in there. There's can be reason not to get in a race to the bottom dynamic and effectively have a gentleman's agreement to keep prices in a certain range. Of course, that can go too far. Yeah. But
well, let me tell you about Vanta. Automate compliance and security. Vanta is the leading AI trust management platform. Do you mind doing some timeline while I
of course
quick break?
Pierre from cal.com says, shower thought. Why is no one doing outbound for pizza? Hey, this is Gigi from Gigi's Pizza calling. You ordered last week. We have a pepperoni pizza ready and could deliver it in 10 minutes. Are you hungry? Tech sales guy says $1 trillion idea. And of course, it goes viral again. Some ideas and bangers are evergreen. Morgan Housel yesterday was saying, I think the majority of societal problems right now are all downstream of housing affordability. Austin asks, how would you fix housing affordability? The current admin has suggested 50-year mortgages. We'll see how much we'll see if those go through and how much of an impact that they have. But Morgan Housel says, build more homes, plenty of demand, plenty of capital, mostly a local zoning issue. And that certainly tracks living here in California. John Palmer, dear friend of the show and somebody that we are actually working on a little project with, says, this might sound crazy, but they should pivot. He's talking about Sunday Robotics, which make the cute new robots with fantastic little hats. He says, this might sound crazy, but Sunday should pivot to a consumer app where you just teleoperate your own Memo, which is the name of the robot, and meet up with your buddies and do fun stuff as robots. I agree. I would love to meet up with the lads in the real world in robot form. I think he might be onto something. There was a story coming out earlier this week. An investigation from The Lever found that a PE firm is buying hockey rinks and banning parents from recording and taking photos of their kids' games.
Based.
This story broke
Why is that based?
because they tried enforcing the rule on the wrong person, U.S. Senator Chris Murphy. So a little excerpt here. As the $40 billion youth sports industry comes under private equity control. Corporate-owned facilities and leagues, from hockey rinks to cheerleading arenas, have begun prohibiting parents from recording their own kids' sports games. Instead, parents are forced to subscribe to these companies' exclusive recordings and streaming service, which can cost many times more than the streaming costs for professional sporting events. That's
so funny because I
think this is.
I was thinking about how like I'm such a gear nerd that oftentimes when I'm watching my 4-year-old play soccer, I'm like, one of these days I'm going to bring out these like PTZ cameras out here and like get the most cinematic footage, and they're going to have to go up against me. I'm going to be fighting them.
Yeah, every kid's sport team should have a dad or a mom that's the CTO, and their job is just to rig the entire field with cameras, and then provide crazy edits for each kid after. Even if they lose, it's like the one moment that they had. You know, they finessed someone. You still think this is base, Tyler? You still saying hello, base department?
I mean, my mind's.
You appreciate value creation.
How else do you expect private equity firms to make money?
Equity.
Yeah, how else do you expect them to make
hardworking private equity firms?
They need to make ends meet.
Build, afford their interest payments.
Yeah.
In some instances, parents have been threatened that if they chose to defy the rules and record the game, they may end up on a blacklist that punishes their kids.
Well, what they need to do is they need to form some sort of like union, basically, where they all say, we all are going to film, or none of us are going to attend, and we're going to take our business elsewhere.
Those threats were even reportedly made to a sitting U.S. senator. I was told this past weekend that if I live stream my child's hockey game, my kid's team will be penalized and lose a place in the standings, said Chris Murphy at a public event. Why is that? Because a private equity company has bought up the rinks. So he was trying to live stream himself. Like he was just trying to set up a camera and how does that, like, at some point, I think the obvious solution here is parents can take as many pictures as they want.
Yeah.
If I'm a parent, I'm going to take some pictures.
Yeah.
But I would probably still get the recording. Mm-hmm. I would probably still subscribe so that family members could watch.
Yeah. It
doesn't have to be all or nothing.
Compete in the free market. Let us both film. Whoever gets the better vibe reel, whoever gets the craziest edit out of it is going to be able to sell it. And if I can out edit you and I bring better gear than your private equity backed, videographer, I'm not paying for it. Let me tell you about Figma. Think bigger, build faster. Figma helps design and development teams build great products together. You can get started.
Triple glaze.
Every time OpenAI says anything, it gets turned into a headline these days. The latest one is that the keyword is headwinds.
Have to start using sign language,
headwinds.
But I guess even that would still potentially get turned into a headline.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very tricky.
Signing something to
very tricky. I feel like people use. I feel like if you went through a variety of like earnings call transcripts from plenty of public companies, CEOs say the word headwinds all the time. They're like, oh yes, like this particular thing, the tariffs, that's a headwind. Oh, this is a headwind. Interest rates might be a headwind. That might be a headwind. Competition might be a headwind. Like people throw this out all the time.
Yeah, if you say as a business that we don't have headwinds, you're not going to be taken seriously.
Yeah. But OpenAI is somehow wound up in a situation where they're so priced to perfection that even just admitting that there might be more competition is like a massive news cycle now. It's pretty remarkable. But the actual quote here is that Sam Altman warned of headwinds from resurgent Google. This, of course, is a story that we've all been tracking through.
The
Gemini
quote,
3
create
is
some
very good.
temporary economic headwinds for our company.
Economic headwinds is pretty wild.
Didn't have to say it, put that part in.
I wonder how that's going to manifest. Are people going to be unsubscribing from ChatGPT, going over to Gemini as an app, or are they going to, is this on the API side? The API side seems a little bit more like easy to like slide around from one to the other. It feels like OpenAI certainly caught up very quickly with Codex. They were behind for a while, then they caught up, but now Google's, sort of out in front, although Anthropic's doing very well. It's all just like a variety of horse races. Some of the revenue should be stickier than others, but when the goal is $100 billion in revenue so fast, with this serious of competition, it is very, very difficult.
He also said ChatGPT is AI to most people, and I expect that to continue. So, brand
That is 100% accurate.
Powerful element, but not enough to eliminate all competitive threats.
Okay.
He added, I don't want this to be a downer. We are doing remarkably well as a company, and I expect that to continue.
Yes,
so,
yes. Let me tell you about Julius AI, the AI data analyst that works for you. Join millions who use Julius to connect their data, ask questions, and get insights in seconds. What is this story of the FBI raising a bounty for a former Olympic snowboarder who turned alleged drug kingpin?
We love these stories. We covered this guy on the show before.
Okay, his name's Ryan Wedding. Ryan James Wedding.
He's married to the game.
Is he? What does that mean?
No, Ryan Wedding.
Oh, Ryan Wedding. Okay, yes, he's married to the drug dealing game, I suppose.
He's a former Olympic snowboarder from Canada. He represented Canada at the 2002 Winter Olympics in men's parallel giant slalom.
Whoa.
After the Olympics, it is alleged that he became a transnational drug trafficker and orchestrated the murders of various witnesses.
Whoa.
And he's only 44, so he's kind of just hitting his stride. He was added earlier this year, March 6th, to the FBI 10 Most Wanted. So he's in the top 10.
10.
From,
they have any idea where he is? I wonder how we'd hunt this guy down.
And they're saying he's running one of the largest drug trafficking operation and is believed to be the dominant cocaine distributor in Canada. So from the Canadian Olympic team to the Canadian narcotics trafficking MVP status.
It's going to be
Bondi. The hard thing is when they talk about because drug kingpins have just been the stars of so many different great television TV shows and movies. Pam Bondi said he's the modern day iteration of Pablo Escobar.
Like somebody was about to turn him in, but they hear that and they're like, "Oh, he's too cool to turn in. Can't do it. It's not worth it. I just got to be friends with this guy. I'm living through history."
Oh wow! So after the 2002 Winter Olympics, he moved back to Vancouver and attended university. He got into bodybuilding and started working as a bouncer. After 2 years in university, he dropped out and began to speculate in real estate, which he financed by growing marijuana in a massive warehouse. He eventually expanded his operation and joined up with Iranian and Russian smugglers.
Yeah.
And in 2010, he was convicted of attempting to buy drugs from a U.S. government agent. Yeah. And he went to prison for it.
There are so many startups these days that are going after Palantir's market, competing in enterprise software, enterprise AI, forward deployed engineers. It's all a bunch of memes. Everyone's keying off of the Palantir strategy. I think if you're trying to play in that market, you got to take down a most wanted fugitive.
Yeah.
You get the 15 million, that's your seed round, and you use this as marketing. The company that finds this guy, I'm going to believe that your model's pretty good. Whatever you're doing, if you can find this guy, I'm going to be like, that's enough of an eval for me. You pass the benchmarks. I don't care your MMLU. Tell me how many fugitives have you checked off the FBI top 10 most wanted list? That's what I want to see.
Well, there's a documentary series in the making titled Snow King, From Olympian to Narco.
Okay, yes.
Based on a Rolling Stone investigation.
Okay.
So
Jack Altman says, I heard the term forward deployed VC, meaning investor who's helping a company, and now I'm logging off for the rest of the year. What's funny is like there used to actually be forward deployed VCs. What's that Genentech story, right? Who was the VC in Genentech? It was, who was it? I don't remember. Robert Swanson, a venture capitalist, met with biochemist Herbert Boyer in 1976. There was, I think it was either Sequoia or Kleiner Perkins, but one of
Bob Swanson, I believe, was at Kleiner Perkins.
Okay. Is that right? There was one example of a VC who basically was in the office of the company every Friday and was basically just like their financial back office the entire time, because the team was a bunch of scientists who understood the technology but did not really understand how to build the business, and the forward deployed VC did really go in. That's a lost art because we are in the era of like founder friendly, let the engineer figure out everything, let them hire, like kind of hands off from the venture capital community. So I'm actually okay with the term forward deployed VC if it's actually forward deploying. Like you can't just be like helpful. You need to be like actually in the office.
Of the show who's like basically like probably doing like actually 20 hours a week for one of his portfolio companies and has been for years.
I would give him the forward deployed VC.
But he would never call himself forward deployed VC.
Yeah, it would be a very bad
matters.
How about forward deployed Privy? Because Privy helps you build on crypto rails, securely spin up white label wallets, sign transactions, and integrate on-chain infrastructure all through one simple API. Peter Reinhardt is in the news. This article might be a little bit too long, so we might tell you to go read it. But Peter Reinhardt says, my lobbyists are very nervous about me posting this, but overregulation is working against us. All the costs are astronomical to us all but hidden.
There's one excerpt that I'll read.
Yes, this is the CEO of Charm Industrial, and he has been going viral with a new article about overregulation.
And so he's giving an example. So as one example, one state agency asked Revoy to do certified engine testing to prove that the Revoy doesn't increase emissions of semi-trucks, and that Revoy must do the certification across every single truck engine family. It costs $100,000 per certification, and there are more than 270 engine families for the 9 engines that our initial partners use. That's $27 million for this one regulatory item. And keep in mind that this is to certify that a device whose sole reason for existence is to cut pollution by 90%, and which is done so across nearly 100,000 miles of testing and operations, is not increasing the emissions of the truck. It is a complete waste of money for everyone. So
the Revoy system attaches to the truck and adds as an extra battery pack. It's a way to retrofit a gas-powered truck to include an extra electric engine. There's something where I guess if your claim is that you're reducing emissions, I don't have that much of a problem of you trying to certify that you're not increasing emissions, because that's the base level for your claim, like your marketing claim. You're claiming that you're reducing emissions. If you're increasing emissions, then you're doing the opposite of your claim. So there is something about like whatever claim you're making, you should be able to back it up. But the main thing is that $27 million.
Any type of system that requires you to spend $27 million just to get in the game.
Yeah.
When you're
you would think that there'd be a better way to understand the actual impact of this. I mean, there's so many maybe more efficient ways to deal with this, whether it's just like, okay, how widely deployed are these? If they're making $100 million a year, take the taxes, do some independent analysis, pay for it yourself, and then decide, okay. And then
also, the question in this case is, why does it cost $100,000 per certification? Is there like a monopoly in the certification market?
Absolutely. It's the government. The government's the one that does the certification, but yeah.
I thought it was an external. I thought it was an external partner.
Maybe.
But even then, it's hard to imagine that there's like $100,000 of services that goes into this. So you should be able to cut that. Cut that cost pretty dramatically.
Well, before we move on, let me tell you about adquick.com. Out-of-home advertising made easy and measurable. Plan, buy, and measure out-of-home with precision. Casey Hanmer has a big post here. Should we run through some of this, or you want to skip down to this one? Okay, here we go.
Got another one-off cockroach. The private credit cockroaches have been scuttling around. This time, private lenders are swapping debt for equity in distressed 4840. I am logging into Bloomberg so that I can actually read the article.
4840. Private credit lenders are poised to take control of pallet company 4840 Solutions about a year after providing $1.75 billion of debt to support Summit Partners' acquisition of the business. A group of lenders, including Antares Capital, are set to take equity in 4840 under a proposed restructuring. Other lenders include KKR, BlackRock, Carlyle Group. The deal would shed $1 billion of liabilities from 4840's balance sheet. In cases where borrowers were struggling with their liabilities, private credit firms are more frequently swapping their debt positions for equity stakes to try and prevent losses. While swaps can produce upside, they also offer more unpredictable returns than direct loans. Pretty crazy to be set up to get a payment for the debt and then be like, yep, well, actually, we're just riding with you on the equity side. But it's happening more and more because it's better than the alternative of watching the company go out of business. And so this was originally, the cockroach phrase is that this poster is riffing off of is, of course, from Jamie Dimon, who was identifying First Brands as the cockroach and was saying, usually when you see one, there are more cockroaches. That was his whole point. And the Blue Owl CEO, co-CEO, executive team kind of fired back and said, like, yeah, maybe at JP Morgan, we're good. And so they've been kind of duking it out, going back and forth. Here and here is highlighting another cockroach.
Fairly concerning conversation with a buddy who has a pretty scaled company in the consumer packaged goods manufacturing space, and he was saying that around a number of the people that he competes with in his category have taken on so much debt from various private credit players over the last 5-6 years. And a lot of that, at least a number of them, he thinks are just not going to make it out of the next 2 years without a restructuring. So we will see. I'll let you read through this post from Will, and then I'll be right back.
Will Manitis is on a generational run of long posts. He says, on becoming legible to capital, the most underrated factor in the success of firms is the degree to which they are legible to capital. Defining this precisely is hard, when you see it. But an idea, a firm, or a person is legible to capital, which he spells with a capital C, when by dint of their existence, capital forms behind them in excess. Think of an idea being legible to capital as being magnetically charged to the capital markets. Dollars are just attracted to you. Allocators discuss it at cocktail parties. Funds market it at their AGMs. And Twitter discusses novel financing schemes to get more dollars behind the idea. Becoming legible to capital is the single greatest superpower for a fledgling firm. Look at Ramp. Look at Cognition. Look at Leopold. Look at Tony and Dan at Danny. These are all superhumans at being legible to capital. It's worth noticing how ideas and people become legible to capital. First, there's no divide between the CEO, management, and the idea. The story is not that of an individual successfully and impressive, individually successful and impressive individual bringing their talents to a new platform. You can see these kind of puff piece stories in many companies that are illegible to capital. The company is never about you. For a founder to be legible to capital, there can be no air between them and the expression of the idea. Their lives only matter insofar as they are building with intensity towards the pure form of the idea. Second, the company can be understood fundamentally as an equation/trade. In a best case, the most legible companies grow as a superlinear function of dollars in. The founders are highly verbal and can clearly articulate and understand the inputs to this growth equation: talent, capital, management, etc. The companies that are most legible to capital and the management that runs them at their best feel like clockwork toys in the hand, because by looking at them, the levers of progress and output become immediately clear. They are immediate, smack you in the face expressions of an idea that is both small enough that you can feel the thing click around in your hand, but cosmically large enough that the idea feels true in some sense beyond literal. When the trade is immensely clear, every capital provider across the stack can immediately understand their role today, but more importantly, their ability to scale to putting 10, 100, 1,000x the number of dollars into the thing as it reaches maturity. Finally, a company becomes legible to capital when it is clear the entire firm, from capital to management to talent, is singing from the same song sheet. They are all living their lives in expression of the same exact idea. An idea I've stolen shamelessly from is from Finn Barnes, who was over at First Round, now he's at the GP, is the chocolate cake problem. Many firms have great inputs: eggs, chocolate, flour, some beautiful icing. But management thinks they're cooking a souffle, investors think they're getting cupcakes, and talent thinks they're getting pound cake. The companies that are most legible to capital are obsessive about chasing the tolerances between competing ideas of the firm to zero. By becoming legible to capital, a firm not only can achieve singularity in the private capital markets, i.e. unlimited free capital forever, but more importantly, it can unify the secret that ignites it internally with the world outside. When that secret is shared, there is truly no limit. Jordy, what's your review?
I think of this in the context of, like, when you think about El Segundo specifically,
yes,
and watching companies become more legible to capital over time, and the momentum that starts to build, where early on at the seed stage, there's just like excitement around an idea and a team. And then you watch as these companies like basically bifurcate into, sometimes you can have an incredibly talented founder that really stops accumulating capital because the sort of potential still remains unclear and they're not building that momentum.
Yeah.
Whereas another one that has the same quality of founder starts to build that legibility.
Yeah. I think Tyler?
Also, there's something kind of interesting. We've been talking about this a little bit where I think Jordy basically said this thing where it's like maybe the role of the CEO is actually to separate like the valuation from like what it like kind of really should be. So it's almost like it's less legible, right? Where like if you have if you're in a sector like quantum or something, and it's kind of it's quite hard to understand what the fundamentals are. That's actually where you get like higher multiples.
Interesting.
So maybe that's like kind of against what Will's saying. I don't know.
Yes. How does the meme stock craze fit into that? The meme stock craze is legible to a form of capital. It is legible to retail capital. It is legible in the sense that the retail stock trader, the meme stock trader, understands how the stock will move on the basis of press releases, on the basis of viral moments, CEO comments, enthusiasm. Like if you are in a meme stock army, the legibility is derived from the power of the community. The apes strong together. Well, how many apes are there, and how strong are they? If you notice that your
Bobby
apes
says
are growing,
roaches strong together.
roaches strong together. As you grow your ape army and you get stronger and stronger, that's the nature of the legibility. When I think of the examples that he's using, I think of it almost more like just the checklist of questions about a business and the inputs and outputs with regard to the capital, but also, once the TAM is so well established that there's no more questions about it. It's like, well, of course this is a $1 trillion industry if things execute well. Well, of course the team is the best one in the market. We've tested every other team. We've tested this idea, and we have full coverage of the team. There's no incumbent that's coming behind them. We know we have the leading team, and we know the market's huge. And then also, are we sure that the gross margins are great forever? Are we sure that this is monopolistic or not super competitive? Are we sure that Google won't copy this and successfully compete in that space. Like, so just getting super high confidence about, whatever framework you want to use, whether it's all the questions in 0 to 1 or 5 forces or whatever business, whatever spreadsheet or slide deck you want to see at your firm when you're making an investment, once you've checked that off with a company, it's so many times that everyone's like, yes, this is the winner. They're pulling away. They're doing great. They're a compounder. The legibility of capital thing is important because you don't have earnings. You're not in the public markets yet. And so you need to become this like foregone conclusion and then run from 1 billion to 50 billion in the private markets. And if you're illegible and there's still this question about, oh, well, like when are you shipping or what are you doing? Like, how do I put my money in and get my money out? And it's more of like a moonshot. It gets a lot harder to just stack up.
Yeah, and even at the early stages, it's still underappreciated that people say like, I have zero faith in this idea, but I'll still back the founder just because they're great. And
there is one way to become more legible to capital. Go to getbezel.com, shop over 26,500 luxury watches, fully authenticated in-house by Bezel's team of experts. Get a hitter, put it on your wrist when you walk into that asset management firm. They're going to whip out their checkbook. You know it's going to work. You know it's a secret hack.
Should we bring in our first guest of the show?
We have Julia Steinberg.
The legend.
Welcome to the show. From Arena Magazine.
She's
How
back.
Are you doing? Good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks so much for coming down.
It's nice to see that the studio is real and it's not AI generated.
It is real. It is real. We are here in Hollywood, bringing media back to Hollywood. We appreciate you.
Are you the only ones left?
We really are.
We are.
We're in a huge complex.
Yeah.
And to our knowledge, not a single other firm actually shows up every day.
I do have. There is a one benefit. There are many benefits to being in Hollywood. One is that it's in between where Jordy and I live, so it splits the commute. The other benefit is that I think it should dramatically increase our chances of winning a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, because it is a lifetime achievement award. You're truly in incredibly rarefied air. Frank Sinatra's there, Leonardo DiCaprio is a star. You truly have to be at the pinnacle of your craft. But if there is some bonus point for actually being in Hollywood, I think it increases our chances dramatically.
Lifetime achievement award of animal analogies applied to artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll just start putting influencers on there. Like, where is Alex Earl? Why is she not on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Because that's what Hollywood is at this point.
100%.
Portnoy made the most people angry of anyone ever.
Yeah, Portnoy is, as you walk down the Hollywood Walk of Fame, like, yes, there are some absolute legends, but there are some other folks who are,
sort of
more
mid-tier.
Yeah, I would say mid. And so I would put influencers there. The weird thing is that the influencers aren't in Hollywood. So the question is, like, does the Hollywood Walk of Fame just wind up reflecting what's happening
is in Hollywood?
Is it geofence?
Like,
are the stars
like,
geofence?
When does Mr. Beast become eligible? Because he's in North Carolina.
Well, when are they going to do a Saudi Arabia?
Oh, yes.
Hollywood Walk of Fame. That's what I'm looking for.
Oh, don't give them the idea. They will definitely do one over there.
They should hire me. I'm open.
I bet Hollywood is Hollywood the city? I don't know. But
I don't think it's an independent city. West Hollywood is.
I think Hollywood, there's obviously folks here that want to raise money. They should franchise the name. They should sell the rights to the name Hollywood and put a Hollywood in
Saudi Arabia should just recreate every city in the world in the desert and then use it to incentivize movies to get made there.
Yeah. Well,
bring culture to the desert.
That's what LA did.
Yeah. No, we've been to New York on the Fox lot. Here in LA, they have basically a mini New York.
Full like representation of New York. You can go film whatever you want there. Anyway, give us an update since you've been on the show a few months ago. What's latest in your world? You're full-time at Arena Mag,
I am
correct?
full-time at Arena Magazine. We're getting ready to launch our upcoming issue 006,
Sure.
an ode to capitalism, and that's
Okay.
all I can say. More will be out next week,
Okay.
so keep your timelines open. I remember I was talking with Max. I was like, "Oh, is like Thanksgiving week? Is that a good week to launch? Will like more people be online, or
Yeah.
will fewer people be online because they'll be with their families?"
Sure.
And we had this whole debate about how online people were going to be during
Yeah.
Thanksgiving week, and the answer that we came down to is actually people are going to be more online during Thanksgiving week.
I think so.
They don't want to be responsible for getting the turkey in or out of the oven. They don't want to argue with their family about
Yeah.
Epstein files or whatever. So
Yeah, I wonder what the online behavior is, because over Christmas, like we noticed that's when like that really crazy H-1B dust up happened. in tech.
I'm Jewish. I don't celebrate Christmas, so
Yes.
I had plans. I had to go get Chinese food.
Sure,
I had to go to
sure.
the movies, and I was just totally offline. And all my Christian friends or my friends who celebrate Christmas, they're hyper aware of the H-1B discourse.
Yeah.
They could recite,
Well,
this person said
it was
this.
very odd timing, because a lot of the tech podcasts were off for the holidays and didn't need to comment on it, even though it was this like hot political issue that you would have expected most tech podcasts to touch on. But then by the time everyone got back from New Year's, like the whole dust up had sort of moved on. So
Well, maybe
I don't
that's
know.
good, because the H-1B issue is just you shouldn't touch it. It's too controversial if you want
Yes.
to be monetized still. Like
Yes,
So maybe
yes.
that was some like very clever like Jewish marketing gimmick by putting the H-1B discourse on
Yes.
Christmas so only the Jews could participate. Or
Maybe
something like
no,
that.
I know. So I do think everyone participates in the timeline over holidays. I think it's, but maybe it's more phone time, less computer time. Like people are milling about, they're stepping away from the turkey, but they're not necessarily sitting down and writing
More
a
good
full
screen,
essay.
less bad screen.
Wait, which one's the good screen?
I
No,
feel
I mean
like
that's the joke. It's like
yes.
I close my bad screen.
The bad
then
screen is
I
the
open-
computer?
Yeah, yeah.
And the good
I
screen's
have
the
it.
phone?
I think my good screen is the computer. My bad screen is my phone.
I would agree with this.
On my
Well,
phone, actually,
you guys
I
I mean, you guys are not working an office job
Sure,
that
sure,
you hate.
sure.
So
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I think there will be people milling about, reading posts, but they won't have time to sit down and really. We were debating this over the stream. Like, will anyone have time to watch like a 3-hour stream on Thanksgiving? Of course, we're taking Thanksgiving off, but
not Black
how
Friday.
But we are going to be.
Well,
live
that's the
on
most
Black
important
Friday.
day of
we're going to be open for
capitalism.
business.
Exactly, yeah.
We're going to
Yeah,
be
that's-
celebrating.
Tell me what
commerce.
deals. Tell me what to buy on Amazon.
Yeah, we will. We have some good people lined up. So yeah, what'd you write about last magazine, and did the California Forever piece line up with it's going to publish in the next mag?
Yeah, so in the last magazine, I did the review of Dan Wong's Breakneck.
That's right. We talked to him too a little bit.
yeah,
What was
no-
your takeaway?
I really like Dan. I think he's a really smart guy. I've hung out with him a few times. He gave me a huge stack of the London Review of Books, and he's
Cool.
like, "This is just like the greatest thing ever." So it was nice bonding over print media with him.
That's great.
I do think that it's just I'm very skeptical that the United States government should get involved in these huge infrastructure projects in its current state. Like, I like the idea of engineering, but what makes American engineering so spectacular and so amazing is that we do it in the private market.
It's distributed.
It's distributed. And if we just said, okay, the United States government is going to do this huge engineering project, it's like, do we trust the United States government to do this huge engineering project?
Yep.
I drove down to LA yesterday from San Francisco, and it's like half the roads were terrible. And it's like, you know what? I sort of wish this whole thing was a toll road.
Yeah.
I'm not like that, like diehard libertarian, where I'm like, the government shouldn't
I
do
want my
roads.
private road.
At least not yet. Give me
Yeah.
like 5 years.
I joke that the G-Wagon is so popular in LA because you actually need a 4x4 to like get around some of
'Cause
like
the
the
roads are
crazy
so
Well, yeah,
potholes.
up.
it was raining like crazy yesterday on the freeway, and I was driving down, and I was like, thank God that my beautiful, beautiful RAV4 has 4-wheel drive,
Yep.
or else I would die because these roads are terrible and no one knows how to drive in the rain.
Yeah, I was reflecting on there are so many interesting anecdotes about like, is the government equipped to take on the project that you are interested in, whatever your pet project is, whether it's healthcare or space exploration or whatever you want. And I keep coming back to this part of like step one in any of that is like fix the productivity problem in government projects.
Yeah, I think for the next issue of Arena 006 that's coming out December 1st, I wrote about California Forever,
Yeah.
which is the project to build a new city in Solano County, which is about an hour northeast of San Francisco. And it's sort of like an interesting concept to me because it's like, oh, it's this privately funded city, you know, all of the who's who of Silicon Valley, Laureen Powell Jobs, the Collison brothers, Reid Hoffman, Nat Friedman, Mark Andreessen, all these people put money into this. It's a privately funded city. Yeah. But so much of the struggle with getting California Forever off the ground is just because of government. And I remember I was fact-checking the essay, and I was communicating with Julia Blystone, who's the California Forever head of comms, and I said like, okay, well, the next step is there's this like 1,200 page environmental review. And she's like, no, it's actually 12,000 pages. I don't think I've read 12,000 pages in my life. I don't think anyone in this room has read 12,000. And I read a lot. Maybe I have in my life, but not at once, and definitely not an environmental review report. Yeah.
Especially a report that somebody's just going to drag into ChatGPT and say, turn this into 5 bullet points, please.
Turn this into one image.
My favorite memory from college, actually, is actually when Peter Thiel was co-teaching a class in my sophomore year, German 266. And it's a class with 60 people. You have to fill out a form to get in. It's supposed to be a good class. And it is a very good class. It's a fascinating topic. But one of my favorite memories from the class is the kid next to me who had this startup that was worth millions, if not tens of millions of dollars. Put in ChatGPT, summarize Hegel in 3 bullet points.
I love that.
One shot it.
Yes.
Don't make mistakes.
That would be, that's
well, maybe, I mean, Stanford whiz kid, his startup's only worth a couple $1,000,000. Maybe he's actually not that elite.
Yes. Yeah. What is the mood in the Stanford alumni world right now? There was this question. I was sending you this post from Delhi, and this question about the age-old question of is this next generation cooked? Is AI actually turning off folks' brains to the point where they can't sit down and read Hegel all the way through? That everyone is doing this? Is it a systemic problem, or is this just cantankerous old millennials shaking their fist at the younger generation?
Well, I will say this. At Stanford, there's a thing called co-terming. It's like a 5th-year master's. Sure. You apply. Most of the time, people get in, and you just sort of stick around for another year, finish up a master's, and you get 2 degrees at the end in 5 years. Apparently, a third of my class, the class of 2025, co-termed, whereas co-terming right now. A third, 33%.
Yeah, we've seen this a lot. We saw some data that more people are applying to law school.
Oh yeah, the law school thing is terrible. Okay. I have a few friends who are studying for the LSAT right now, and I'm hitting them in the head with their huge LSAT books.
Is that because you think it won't be a career path?
There aren't going to be associates. Maybe they're going to be 5 associates, but there aren't going to be 50 associates because the AI is
It's interesting
better.
Because if you genuinely are excited about devoting your life to understanding and finessing the legal system, it's probably as good of a time as ever because you're going to be able to learn a lot faster. You're going to be able to be more productive. If you're super high agency, you'll find the right firm and attach your career to that and probably be able to have a wonderful career. But deciding to do law school because you don't know what you want to do and you're trying to buy time and you want to do something that's sort of on a high status track, and hopefully high earning without being necessarily high agency, just feels like a train wreck, an inevitable train wreck.
Well, how it seems to me, my dad actually, he just retired from a legal career, and he was the first person to say, all the associates are sort of screwed because they're they just can't outcompete the AI, and law, especially how it's structured, because there needs to be a partner on the case as per this weird agreement that was reached, I think, in the early 2000s. Associates can't really be on cases anymore. Sure. So there's even less of a need for associates, and this is going to be true in all fields. And I think, obviously, there these, in law specifically, there are these, 100, 200-year-old firms that really care about legacy, they care about reputation, so they're okay, we need to have some young people to carry the firm on, but it's just a question of how are those people going to learn anything if ChatGPT is just doing all their work, or Harvey, or anything like that. I think I think for if you're the top 5% of law students, you're probably going to be fine. Yeah. We're still going to have judges. Judges are one thing that I'm maybe AI should just replace judges. We have a lot of bad judges.
That seems that's a crazy idea. Before of the courtroom, the thing to replace you would think would be the stenographer. We have dictation. and yet, or
Or the,
you know what
the
else we
illustrator.
can do?
I don't know. I
the
use
illustrator.
Otter AI all
The
the time. It's not that
Illustrator?
great.
Is not that great? Okay. We can get into the bear thesis for AI in a minute, but the illustrator. What are they called? Just
Courtroom illustrators,
Courtroom
yeah.
illustrator. We have cameras. Why don't
No,
we just
but
take a picture?
like the downside of if you actually use Nano Banana
Yeah.
or any other image model,
Yeah.
it would just be like good enough to not produce a funny result. And I feel like
it
there's
has
so
to be
much
funny.
humor.
No, it has to be like Studio Ghibli, like
Yeah.
murderer or murder, like defendant.
No,
You could take a
that would
photo
work.
and
But
then
I'm
say,
saying
turn it
like
into an illustration.
sometimes the illustrators like botch an illustration
Sure.
so badly that
like
it's
SPF
funny.
or something.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
you're thinking about. Yeah. I was shocked by how resilient that job was to automation, since we do have the camera, and we've had the camera for 100 years almost, and it's stuck around as a real.
I don't like a lot of court or a lot of law is like ritual. Like I think in the UK, the judges still have like the weird head things that they need to wear, the
Yep,
wigs,
yep.
Or even like the judges' robes.
That makes
My
me
dad,
feel
like he had to
this
wear a
will
tie.
be around for a really long time. Even if the AI can do so much, we will do it out of procedure. We will have these conversations with humans for whatever reason. I don't know. It'll
Yeah,
be hard to
procedure is
describe.
very inelastic, and also I think just lawyers, it's a very easy like
Yeah.
cast of person to demonize, and I think
Totally.
just as McKinsey will stick around so
Yeah,
they can
yeah,
say,
yeah.
"Oh, sorry about the layoffs, McKinsey made us do it." It's going to be
Yeah,
the same
yeah.
with the evil lawyers.
Yeah, sure. You want the buck to stop with someone, and not necessarily an AI.
No,
Not necessarily.
because
an
if you
AI.
say, "Oh, sorry, the AI said this," well, they'll say like, "Well, you used Grok instead of ChatGPT. Can you ask ChatGPT because that's my preferred AI
Yeah,
model?"
yeah.
If it's just McKinsey.
Yeah. What's the? I feel like there's still probably some alpha in becoming a lawyer or going down the legal path in 2025. If you are basically setting yourself up not to just be, associate fodder for high margin billing, but in fact you are setting yourself up to gain control over an institution that would be harder to build independently.
Well, I think with young people, especially law, it's because you have, you make like good money in your like late 20s and 30s, but
Yeah.
you start to make really good money
Yep.
in your 50s and 60s.
Yep.
And I think for
Sort of
people-
like an MLM.
yeah, a little bit, but it's also for people my age who it's like, oh, I could either like work really hard for like 30 years,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe if I make partner and I'm one of the really good partners, I can
Gonna
make
make a ton of money.
like a good amount of money. It's like, why do that when it's like, oh, if I learn how to code and after like
Flood
10 years I
apps.
can make this much money.
Yeah. 4 years with vesting.
Yeah,
right?
with vesting, all you
There's-
need is the 4 years.
Yes, at the right hot company at the right time.
Yeah. So it's interesting to me because I feel like with the Gen Z financial incentives, it's so oriented around like make money now,
Yeah.
or even like you have X amount of years to make money before AGI hits and the
Yeah.
economy is like
Permanent
totally
underclass
Yeah,
and
permanent
whatnot.
underclass. So
I'm
if
still
you're-
waiting for the gambling on your student loan debt. The double or not, like double your debt or
Yeah.
pay nothing.
I've become very skeptical of the permanency of the underclass phenomenon. I feel like there will be the strength of the underclass is growing in number, but the permanency is decreasing because at any moment someone can be plucked from the underclass into the global elite through just one right, like parlay, or one right actually like building a company, joining a thing. Like distribution on the internet is so aggressive that you can be languishing in the underclass and then go viral and launch a D2C line, and if you just have like a few things go your way, you become like the market just gives you $10 million basically.
yeah, I think
But it's very rare.
It's
Very
random
rare.
too.
Yeah. It's random, yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
it's-
it's like you were on that plane and you screamed at that person, and then you went viral and you became
And then you
a
started a
sensation. And then you started
podcast, and a meme coin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't give people ideas. I think it usually goes the other way.
Like
Screaming
the
at
Hawk
people
Tuah
on.
girl, for example. I don't exactly know how it all played out for her, but Haley Welch, like
well, she was stupid with it.
yeah, I think she launched a coin and it did not execute well, but
was a
but like
pump and
that
dump.
type of opportunity is entirely random, and every once in a while the market just comes around. It does not feel permanent to be in the underclass.
So when I start yelling, so on Wednesday when I fly to see my family for
Yes.
Thanksgiving, when
Yes.
I start like really aggressively yelling at people on the plane, it's time to buy Julia coin.
yes, you got to get in early on that. For
Yeah,
sure.
you have to get in early before I have my like tantrum on the plane.
Yeah. What else is Has anything updated you on the get your bag culture? Are people now self-aware of it? We were talking to Jessica Livingston, and she was referring to the concept being actually not very new. She was saying carpetbaggers. Have you heard of this?
Well,
I like
that was like a term for the Civil War, and it was like anti-Northerner. It's like, these people are just exploiting business opportunities, which I don't know. It's like, I don't like the term like exploitative business opportunities. Like, I think we have enough regulations that it's like, how true is that in the United States at least? But I don't know. Something I've been thinking a lot about is, so we're in LA right now. I went to high school like a few miles from here. And I think like a very like core memory for me and it was the college admission
Core memory,
scandal.
shout out Ashley Vance.
Yes. The college admission scandal, Varsity Blues. I was a junior in high school when this happened.
Okay, so you experienced
Oh, wow.
So my school, actually, the whistleblower's daughter was a senior, and she was going to go to Yale for soccer.
Okay.
And we're all like, oh, it's sort of weird that this girl, I'm going to call her Susie.
Sure.
Susie is going to go to Yale for soccer, but she's not on the soccer team at her school, and there's not really evidence that she plays soccer.
Interesting.
But she's going to go to play soccer at Yale.
One of the most elite teams in women's soccer.
Sure, I don't know anything about soccer, but this girl was going to go to Yale. And, you know, my high school was very like elite. Everyone was concerned with if they got into Yale or not.
Yeah.
So it was all sort of like, oh, like this is important. Like everyone flagged that Susie's going to Yale. But we all sort of knew that she didn't play soccer.
Yep.
And I remember my high school was very small, and you know it was a college prep school. And the day before the news came out, I had a meeting with the head of school to talk about like where I should apply to college, what my SAT scores was, blah blah blah, privilege, blah blah blah. I acknowledged that I had a very elite upbringing, but I remember the principal was late, and this never happened. There seemed to be something very wrong, and I was like, I don't know what's happening. And she was late to the meeting, and it was fine. And I was told that my SAT scores were fine, blah, 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 blah. The next day, first period, I have a moral philosophy class. I'm the only junior in the class. It's all seniors. I petitioned to say I can take this elective. And we're talking about meritocracy and whether meritocracy is real. Yes, in the class. We have a reading about meritocracy. Is it meritocracy just? Is it something that we should optimize for? Is it something that's unjust because, you know, intelligence is heritable, so it's not earned, blah, 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 blah. And we get to the class, and you know, at 7 a.m. that morning, or whenever we all woke up, we all saw that this girl's dad was, you know, he was arrested for securities fraud, and part of his plea deal was that he was giving up his college admissions scandal, where this college admissions coach was telling people to put that they were black on their college apps, that they were faking associations with various sports teams at all these elite schools. So we go in, and it's like, okay, like we're talking about meritocracy. What about Susie? What about the college admissions scandal? Because we're all sort of fed up with the whole college admissions process. It's a dog and pony show. My little brother's going through it right now, and I'm like, why are they asking you what 3 words you are? What could this possibly have to do with how good of a student you will be or anything like this? But I remember going through the college admissions scandal firsthand, just seeing like how corrupt it is, but also in a way it was sort of like an equalizing form of corruptness. Because like if your family can donate $50 million to Harvard, you will get it.
Yeah.
Like you have to be like really, 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 really bad to not get in if your family donates $50 million.
Yeah.
What if your family doesn't have $50 million to donate to Harvard? What if they only have $500,000?
Well, then you have to make $50 million before you apply.
Or you can use the $5,000 to buy your spot on the sports team.
Oh yeah, it was
So
only
it's
$5,000.
500.
Oh, 500.
But
Okay,
that's a lot less than 50 million.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a sort of more equalized. So it was it wasn't like the 0.1%, but it's still like 1%.
Sure.
Corruption.
Yeah.
So I think that experience.
Isn't there a pro-libertarian hot take that says like you should just auction off every slot?
I've said this before.
You have?
Like, my sort of take on this is that college admissions office should just be sold to the highest bidder.
Yeah.
It would be a lot more honest than what's done now, because right now they give you the spiel about like, oh, we need to have a super diverse class where we have one cellist and one person who's really good at like studying molecular bio and like
And a sailor.
Yeah.
You have to have a sailor.
A Michael Saylor.
We actually don't have
How
enough
much Bitcoin
sailors.
you have?
They're doing walk-ons in the sailing team at Stanford. My best friend in undergrad did that. But
Really? Huh.
yeah, I think we should just auction off the college admissions office.
We don't have enough sailors in this country anymore.
Yeah, we don't have enough sailors in this country.
That's so bearish.
Yeah.
We gotta get back into sailing. That's hilarious.
But yeah, I think this is actually something I was talking about with my boyfriend, is like how much would it cost if you just auctioned off a spot? Maybe if you only auctioned off 10. If you limited it to
I
10
would think you would auction off literally every slot, all of them. Like, what is the market clearing price? Because in the luxury watch world, like there will be a certain number of. I mean, this happens with like the market. What is the market clearing price for Taylor Swift tickets? But like if Porsche comes out with a new GT3 RS, there might be 5,000 made, and they will try to find the market clearing price as close as possible to what the market will bear. Sometimes they overprice them; they don't sell them all. Sometimes they underprice them, and they immediately trade up on the secondary market. But you could even have a secondary market that okay, yes, I bought my slot at Harvard for $2 million, but they're going at $3 million now, so I'm going to sell that, go to NYU instead. Like you could have an entire process just to maximize the price.
I just don't know. It's like if that happens, what % of the Stanford class would be international? Which is a good question.
It would be hugely international,
Yeah.
of course. I mean, it'd be across the entire world. Everyone would just pay to go, and I mean, there's already a little bit of that, but it's definitely like there's more design to the system than that. There's certainly, I would imagine.
How do you defend that against just eliminating an entire track for young people that maybe have negative capital within their family systems, and even if you tell the family at birth, like, expect to be able to purchase, if you want your child to go to Stanford, or the auction range at that point, counting in inflation, will probably be 70 to 80 million to get into the school.
Well, probably what we'll have is
and then it ultimately actually destroys, would naturally just destroy, I think, some of the would certainly be valuable for students from elite families to network with other students from elite families, but ultimately would kill a lot of what makes universities great.
Yes, I agree that it would kill a lot of that, but probably what would happen is, now you have a lot of scholarships. When you apply for college, the Coca-Cola scholarship is a very big one. A lot of these are sort of mostly like full rides to college, like the very like prestigious scholarships. And so probably what will happen is that instead of having these scholarships to college, it's like, okay, we young people of America whose family can't afford the like $50 million sticker price of college admission, apply and we will give you the $50 million to pay your way for this price. But yeah, it's obviously a very flawed system, but it's interesting. It's an interesting like mental model about how much we value college admission, especially because, at a place like Stanford, there are like 1,700 to 2,000 graduates in a year. Not all of them do fascinating things.
Yeah. What city are you living in these days?
I live in San Francisco.
What is the mood in San Francisco? Do you think it's getting better?
I don't know. I've only lived there since August, so I can't really say.
There was this narrative in the mansion section today about it cleaning up its act.
I have a fun story.
There's more demand for West Portal Village Center. I had never heard of that area.
I don't know what that is.
It is now more expensive to live there than in Pack Heights, apparently. $2.5 million median list price. There's also the story about like the OpenAI secondaries driving up real estate prices. But it's always interesting to feel what's actually happening on the ground.
So I live in Pack Heights. I live in Lower Pack Heights.
Yeah.
And a few weeks ago, there was a homeless guy who just totally passed out on my doorstep. It was a Saturday morning. I woke up late. It was like 9 or 10. I checked my phone, and in our apartment WhatsApp, it's like, "Hello, there is an unhoused person on our doorstep. Please don't disturb him." And then in this group chat, we had this huge debate over whether we should call the cops. And the conclusion is just the cops won't come. You can't really do anything about it. He seems nonviolent. Maybe we should wait for him to leave. So I left my apartment at 10:30. I was back at 3 and he was gone. Yeah. But it's still like a weird thing to account for. Like,
you sort of want to call an ambulance for
you want to call
someone
well,
who is
you
sick.
just want to call someone.
Yeah.
And have in my building, there are probably like 30 people who live in the building. Yeah. So it's like someone could have called someone, or maybe if all 30 of us tried. Yeah. But it was very disconcerting because it's one of those things where it's like, oh, everything's better, everything's
Was
fixed.
everything noticeably cleaner during Salesforce this year? Salesforce's conference? Because a few years ago, Benioff completely cleaned up the entire city. And then the other time that they cleaned up the city was when Xi Jinping was visiting.
Yes,
You
when
remember
Xi
this?
Jinping, I was in SF that week, and it felt like it was a different place.
Really? That's funny.
I think SF generally, or urbanism generally, it's so hard to justify living in one of these places. Yeah. I think for most people, because
I agree, but it's almost the flip side where it's so easy to justify living in a suburb. because yes, you're in the city and it feels like, oh, this is like we got to clean this place up. We got to clean this place up. But then you sort of work on that, and then you also work on your life and your company and your business and whatever. And then as soon as you have money and a family, it's just so easy to go to a suburb, and there's so many fantastic suburbs. And it was always the thing that annoyed me about the discourse of like San Francisco has fallen or San Francisco is such a bad place to live. Is like, well, people live in Palo Alto, they live in Atherton, they live in up north in wine country, they live in Incline Village, they live all over the place, and they live in these wonderful, luxurious places that have no crime, no homelessness. Like they have like fantastically managed cities, just a commute distance from San Francisco.
Yeah, I think San Francisco, it's always sort of been like a young person city.
Totally. When I lived there, it was super rough, but I was like, I'm young, that's fine.
Yeah, I saw a guy on Twitter who's going to give me a taser, so thank you.
Yeah.
But I think
weapons on the internet.
Yeah, giving
the San
away weapons
Francisco
on
way.
there.
You can buy a taser on Amazon.
Yeah, you
It'll
can
show
buy
up
them.
this
But
afternoon.
it's like a taser gun, so I think
Okay.
it'll be easier to use. I was going to
Yeah.
buy a taser.
Yeah.
And this sort
Well,
of,
those are legal. You can also just buy this.
Yeah,
But if someone's going to give you a free one.
Yeah, someone's going to give you a free one. So SF is sort of, it's the duality of San Francisco is it's great because some random stranger on the internet will give me a free taser gun, but the sort of negative part is that I need this taser gun to stay safe.
Yeah. It's always been so fascinating. I mean, I wonder if the OpenAI wealth will meaningfully change the budget of the city. It's just so much, and the company's actually in San Francisco.
Yes.
It's not a Mountain View company. It's not a Palo Alto company. It's not a Menlo Park company. It is a San Francisco company, and you have $500 billion of wealth loosely with tens of billions in the pockets of employees right there. Like that should wind up doing something, even if it's just some renovations, some private security.
How good are OpenAI employees at spending money?
I don't know.
How
would they spend it? How would you recommend?
I have a friend who works at OpenAI, and you just like, I don't really know how to spend my money, and I was just like, do you want just like I can yacht?
Yeah.
Would it be cool to get a yacht? I don't know.
Yacht.
There
There is a marina in San Francisco.
There is,
it's beautiful.
I like to go over and walk around there, and there are these like cool boats and yachts. It doesn't need to be like a super ostentatious one, but I don't know.
I think
or cool
yacht
clothes.
is secondary to cleaning up the streets.
Yes, but and all of even buying a yacht would help clean up the streets because it is some simulation of the city's economy.
Okay.
I don't know.
I suppose. Yeah. The yacht
Speaking
maker.
of boats, it's like
Someone has to.
waters, high tides rise all boats.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know. I guess it's silly to say raise the economic output of San Francisco because it's one of the most economically intensive regions in the country. But I do very strongly believe that just let market forces do their thing, things will get better.
Well, thank you so much for stopping by the Ultradome. This is fantastic.
Yes, thank you for having me.
Always great to get the update. Excited for 006.
006.
Yeah, and 007 is next after
Very
that.
exciting.
Amazing.
Where can people get it?
People can
arenamag.com?
arenamag.com
Okay.
and at Barnes and Nobles near you.
Yes, there's a Barnes
way.
and Noble deal now.
Yes.
There we go.
IRL. Well,
So if you want to buy
congratulations.
any romantasy books, which I think is the new genre.
Yeah, there's romantic fantasy.
Yes.
Right? Okay.
That's the new genre that women
That's
are
not
supposed to
my.
like.
It's not my type. I will.
You have
stick
to get on that.
Well, thank you so much for
All right,
hopping
thank
on.
you.
the show.
Great to see you.
This is great. Great to see you.
Cheers.
Let me tell you about 8sleep.com. Exceptional sleep without exception. Fall asleep faster, sleep deeper, wake up energized. We have our next guest joining right now. We have Bobby Groeschel from Dupe. This is a very fun company.
What's
Bobby,
happening?
How you doing?
Welcome to the show.
What's up? Thank
What's
you.
up?
We made it, guys. We made it.
We made it, finally. Great setup here you got.
Looks
You're just daily
fantastic.
driving that for Zoom?
That's it. Yeah,
Fantastic.
it's comfortable. It's cozy.
Introduce the company. I remember when you launched, I remember seeing a whole bunch of posts go viral, but how are you describing the company today?
Yeah, so Dupe is used by millions of people to find the products that they want or similar products for less. It's a search engine. It's a generative marketplace. I could throw a whole bunch of buzzwords. It's AI driven, this and that, but ultimately it's a shopping companion. It's a shopping app that helps give people a confidence pill, a little bit of a boost to know that what they're buying is at the best price and is the right product.
Agentic commerce, OpenAI is talking a big game about it. Is that a headwind for you?
Yeah, it's first of all, nothing's set in stone yet. Don't count us out. We're also talking to them.
Sure.
We're building an app that would be native to ChatGPT.
Okay.
It's like the thing I like to say about ChatGPT, Google, all these tools is that they can do everything, and that is the problem.
Yeah.
It's like you can, if you're a chef, you can use a Swiss Army knife to cut a tomato, but why would you? I think verticalized AI tools are very powerful because they are single purpose and they solve a problem in a more precise way.
Yeah, I mean, it's odd. I have like no doubt that there's people out there that are making tens of millions of dollars on Studio Ghibli apps, right? Or different animation apps, different sub apps that maybe could be done in ChatGPT if you know the right prompt, but because it's lower tier on like the prompt ladder, you kind of gotta know to go there to get it. It's not coaching you through it. It's not actually giving you all the different harnesses and wrapping that you need to actually do it.
How hard has it been to actually build the product experience? Because I'm assuming you're effectively like browsing the web on behalf of, if I upload a product or I paste in a link, and then you guys are browsing the web, or you already have, and you're sorting products to find products that look the same or maybe from a different manufacturer, or the same end manufacturer, or different brand. But how hard has that product experience been? Because I've been continuously disappointed by computer use and just web browsing from a lot of different LLMs at this point.
When you say computer use, and you're talking about things like the browser's doing the browsing on your behalf, basically.
Yeah.
Go out and find this thing. The example that he gives is
I use it for cars. That's my
find me a GT3 RS. It's a rare car. It's a specific
what a great
trim.
car.
It's a great
Love
car.
that.
Classic.
But it's not like find me someone who sells Diet Coke. Like Diet Coke is a commodity. It's sold everywhere.
Yeah.
A GT3 RS, there might not be one for sale right now. Like it's possible that there's just none for sale. And so
GT3 RS
maybe a few of
quite a bit more common, but
Yeah,
there
but
are certain cars you look
cars-
for and it'll say, I
Carrera
found you
GT.
this one, and it's like it's sold 2 years ago.
Yeah.
It's like,
and so on that eval of like go hunt around on the internet, find this particular thing that's not particularly fungible, not particularly commoditized. At least agent mode, these agentic commerce products have not been up to Jordy's standards, at least.
I take it you haven't bought the GT3 RS yet. Like,
Not yet.
Not yet. And the only reason is just the AI is not good enough.
Yeah, of course. That's the only reason. Come on, guys. So first of all, I think I too have been fairly disappointed with these like browsers that browse on your behalf. That is ultimately not what we're trying to do with Dupe. AI has some flaws in like the shopping universe, and maybe that it speaks to some of the pain points you're finding with finding your perfect car, which is they don't have live inventory, they don't have live price, they don't have product catalogs, they don't have customer preferences, they don't have customer behavior. There's a lot of data that is missing in the shopping journey. So ultimately what you're left with is the best guess. So to answer your question, how hard has it been? It's hard because the way you do it right is you got to do it the old school way. All right. In the shopping world, you got to go press palms, kiss babies, hug people, take them out to a drink, meet them at conferences. You got to know their names. You got to know their kids' names. It's like a lot of trust building in person. It's not as simple as just kind of plugging it in, because when you build that trust, they then trust you with their product catalogs, and they give you a commission for sales because you turn out to be a partner that drives a lot of sales for them. So it has been pretty hard. But the tech that we have is product ingestion from these partnerships, but also live scraping. So it's in a sense it is browsing and it's scraping this data for you. We have vectorized millions of products or tens of millions of products at this point, so we can do kind of a live assessment of what products look like each other, what products should go together, stuff like this. Ultimately, the way to solve it, AI is not sort of a panacea. You have to pick your battles. So Dupe, for example, for the last year and a half, has been focused solely on furniture. Why furniture? Well, turns out, unlike the GT3 RS, a lot of furniture is made in the same few factories, sold back to brands under different names. The brands then upload them to their website under different names, different prices, but it's the same furniture. And I know this because I got scammed with buying furniture online, and it really pissed me off because I found the same product I wanted for about 40% less, the exact same spec, same color, everything, exactly the same. And so that ultimately is like the lore of what spawned dupe. And I've seen these factories in person. I've visited China.
How do you think about incorporating human feedback? That feels that feels like something that would be a really valuable resource. I was thinking about, like, on Instagram, you see a lot of ads for a bunch of different stuff. Some of the stuff is like, it really grabs your attention. People just buy it, but then it's really low quality. And if you could actually have some sort of, feedback. Hey, we shipped you this product. We think we got you the lowest price, but, like, tell us how the product actually performed, because that better informs our decision making. Do you think that'll be like a compounding advantage? Do you think that's valuable over the long term?
It's so valuable, and we don't even need to ask the customer. First of all, we have access to all these reviews.
Sure.
We also have access to the checkout data, and we have access to the return data, because if someone returns something, we don't get paid.
Yeah.
All right. So these brands pay us 4 months after the sales happens, 3 months after the sales happen, after that return window is set. So we know which products get returned the most. So absolutely, that's a compounding effect.
Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Jordy?
You get a lot of hate mail from certain brands that kind of realize, like, you're providing a service that consumers love, and then certain brands out there that are sourcing products and setting whatever price they feel like is relevant, and then you're actually in some
blowing up my
cases,
spot. I had 99% margin on this couch.
Yeah, we basically like killed drop shippers.
Okay.
Like, for sure. Like, the drop shipping industry is a total scam.
Yeah.
And they hate us. But ultimately, our brands, our partners love us. We drive millions of dollars in sales for them every single month. And so why is that? Well, let's say, like, let's take a partner like Walmart. So some people think Walmart has thousands of products. They don't. They have millions of products, right? Millions of products. They're not always in store because a lot of those products are drop shipped. So what we do is, let's say you guys are looking for, we'll take a piece of furniture, for example, that chair right there. I mean, that's not being sold at Walmart, but let's say you want something like that. And you upload an image to Dupe, or you tell Dupe, like, hey, that's a Herman Miller, find me something like that for less. Walmart has 15 versions of that chair. You don't know that. You would probably never even think to look at Walmart for that chair. But Walmart has a great version of that chair, and they love us because we merchandise their products at that exact high intent moment where the customer knows what they want. They just want a great deal on it. We surface the partners up. Now, there are some brands, for example, we were sued last year. And we were sued. I'm not going to name the brand. It's very easy to find.
Sure.
The brand, they are the largest furniture brand. Now, the lawsuit essentially, like, it tried to kill our company. It was like a pretty tough lawsuit that we had to fight. We settled it to both parties' content. Like, it's fine now. But
what was the claim?
There are a couple claims. So copyright infringement, they were pissed that we were using or letting our customers use images from their website to find similar products. They were pissed that, like, they were part of, we went super viral when we came out. I did all of these, like, post-it note ad campaigns and stuff that went super. They were pissed that they were in some of those social kind of TikTok videos. They weren't even ads. They were literally just social content talking about our website. They were really, really upset about that. And ultimately they were pissed that we were unfairly competing, essentially. I obviously, we have a public statement on how we felt about all of these claims. And so they basically said we were falsely advertising, that they were white labeling stuff, that we were unfairly competing and also infringing on their copyright. So ultimately, cold water under the bridge. We're here. Dupe is alive. It's working exactly as we want it to, and it's crushing. And so there are some of those partners, but those are very few and far between. And it tends to be like almost the monopoly type partners, that are upset. Everyone else, and most of the Fortune 500 that we work, they are thrilled that Dupe exists.
That makes sense. How'd you get the domain? It's absolutely fire.
So the company was called Carrot before it was called Dupe. We had 3 months of runway before we pivoted the company to Dupe. We worked with Nikita Beer on it. He was a total goat, helped us find like that
spent your
one.
last 20 grand on intro.co.
Well, we had more than 20 grand. We had about 3 months of runway, but yes, we definitely spent
No,
more
I
than
know.
20
I'm just
grand.
picking a number.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, with Nikita. Probably the best money I've ever spent. Saved our company. Let's be completely honest.
That's actually crazy. I love it.
It like total bananas moment for us. But the domain was a very last minute decision. We knew we needed a great name to stand out in the kind of shopping space. I did a bunch of Google research on keywords. One of the words was dupe, and I saw dupe was on Google Trends 100 rated Google Trend keyword and growing.
Yeah.
And I saw that no one was using dupe.com. We reached out to a broker that was sitting on that name. They wanted just the most insane price. We then negotiated a far lower price for dupes.com, went back to the owner of dupe.com and said, if you don't sell this domain to us in like 5 minutes with this price, which I thought was a fair price. It was all of our money. And we gave them all of our money.
Wow.
And, that we're going to pull the trigger on dupes.com. And they sold it to us like on the spot. They basically said, okay, fine, go for it.
Smart.
That's great.
So that's how we negotiated it.
I love that. That's great. Thank you. That's a good story.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
but that was like a literal bet the company moment. And then Nikita did the most mensch thing ever. He put out a tweet about us and instantly blew us up.
It was
Instantly.
crazy. I remember that tweet. He framed it very, very well.
What-
And then you can imagine this. It just works on social. across
What other
different-
categories do you think are most ripe other than furniture?
Yeah, so we do fashion now, handbags, shoes, clothes. A really big one that we don't do very well yet because AI doesn't have a sense of smell. It's only looking at kind of vision. Perfumes. Perfumes are huge in the
Yeah, it's basically I look at it as anything without a logo. So like furniture, like there's iconic shapes and silhouettes and materials that get used along that, but ultimately people don't have, you don't have a couch that has like a Restoration Hardware big logo printed on it. The challenge with fashion is that people want like the association with a specific like brand, and that can come through a logo or a silhouette that actually can't be implemented without getting
You're right. You're right, except we're going through this like bizarre moment in shopping where brandless is a thing and not showing logos is a thing. Like this kind of quiet luxury movement. Like people want something to feel good, and that buttresses like even the brands that you love. They're white labeling guys. Like they are none of this stuff is like custom made specifically for a single brand. Maybe if you're going into the couture world, of course that stuff is custom made. But ultimately, when someone sees Skims leggings, like they want the look. People shop the look. Like that's what they're shopping ultimately. And it's less about like, people often misconstrue what dupe.com is. Like we're not trying to sell you replicas. We actually ban replicas across the board. We ban all those sites. We are trying to get you that look, that garment, that furniture for less. And most people shop for the look now, especially in this market.
Yep, that makes sense. How do you think you'll have enough leverage at some point to get the underlying brands to pay you at the time of sale? Is that even important?
It's actually very important. I'll tell you why it's important. If we were growing 100% month over month and we weren't seeing our cash flow for 3 months, it stifles our marketing budget. We would have to then either raise credit or go raise a massive round just to pay down the marketing. This is actually like the biggest risk that I think about. So one of the things we're partnering with the largest payment network to do agentic checkout, global checkout. We're not announcing the name yet, but we are working through that tech. And the idea being, most of these brands are really upset with agentic checkout because they don't get the customer information, but we do it in a way where the checkout would happen on Dupe, but the brand retains the customer information and the customer relationship. And the only reason we want to do that is so that we can, go from net 90 payments to net 0, net 1, instant payment back to our company. This is very top of mind for us, and it's definitely a risk that I think a lot about.
How big do you want Dupe to get?
I think Dupe, we often talk about a road to 1 billion shoppers. The way that we're going to do this is we have an MCP. So any LLM can plug us in. You know, the largest LLMs, any long tail LLMs, they can plug us in. Ultimately, we want to be the canonical answer engine for how do I get this for less, or find me something similar to this. We want to be that answer engine for these websites. The beauty is, because they don't have access to the behavioral data, the shopping data, the product catalogs, the product pricing, the moment they plug us in, it's basically zero effort. It's just, you know, a few lines of code. The moment they plug us in, any click going out from our answers that gets monetized, we split that commission back with the LLM. So it's like instantly monetizing their user base in an entirely new way. So that's something that we're very excited about. And when you think about how like the growth potential of that and the tailwinds for any LLM to really consider partnering with us for our links and for our expertise and the ability to monetize instantly, I think we can get to hundreds of millions of shoppers on our infra. They might not be on dupe.com, but they'll be.
But you're still monetizing them.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
That's very exciting.
That's right. And in the last 18 months, we're right around sub 20 million users between. Let's go. Oh my God. Do I get the gong?
Let's
go, dude.
I wasn't sure if you were going to give us a number, but we got one.
No. So I'll give you a few numbers. I mean, we're rounding a corner. We're going to come up on 100 million in GMV sold through dupe.com.
Whoa.
18 million shoppers.
Fantastic.
Between 1 and 2 million monthly shoppers, which we just launched our app last week. Went #1 in the App Store, by the way. Super stoked about. Please, everyone listening, go download Dupe, DUPE. Look for it in the App Store. leave us a review and rating. Got to put in the plug. Went #1 in the App Store, and of course, we had a lot of fun with that. We've been putting a lot of fun content out.
How did you go #1? Was it content or some type of like viral incentive?
We have a lot of users. Like these people, they want our app. Like they use our website to shop and have used our website to shop for many months.
Yeah.
They wanted our app, and the way the App Store works is on a 24-hour clock. So the number of installs you get in a 24-hour period, if it's more than any other app, you rocket up to the top. I didn't think it would happen on day one. I actually had I was convinced that we were going to go #1. First of all, I called the shot in August. On Twitter, I said we are going to unseat, dethrone ChatGPT when we launch our app in November. So we shot our shot and we kind of netted it, but it happened within a couple hours of us going live. I didn't expect that. I expected it to be about 48 hours. So it happened very, very quickly.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's super
we still
impressive.
have a lot. We still have a lot of work left. I mean, obviously we're at the beginning of our journey.
Call your shot again. 100 million in GMV. When are you gonna? Or when are you going to hit it?
We're a couple months away from that.
Okay. Well, we got the gong ready for you.
Amazing.
You're in LA, right?
New York.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
we should be able to get to that. I mean, this shopping season. Let's see how Black Friday goes. Make sure none of our systems go down, but that would be pretty dope.
Yeah,
this
that'll be awesome.
This is your Super Bowl.
Very cool. We'll talk to you soon.
Great hanging, dude.
Thank
Congrats
you so
on all
much
the progress.
Thanks for having me.
Great
Congratulations.
stories.
We'll talk to you soon. Let me tell you about Wander.com. Book a Wander with inspiring views, hotel-grade amenities, dreamy beds, top-tier cleaning, 24/7 concierge service. It's a vacation home, but better. And that's our show for today. That's this week in TBPN. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thanks for hanging out in the chat if you've been chatting this week. We love you, and we'll see you on Monday.
Have a fantastic weekend.
Have a great weekend. Goodbye.
Cheers.